Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Mama A. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Hello, everyone in my community. We're gonna be doing some book reviews today. I'm here even on my birthday. Today is my birthday, you guys. I love what I do, so I was excited to get here today. Okay. Welcome, welcome on in. I'm here. Happy birthday to any Sagittarius out there today. Today is my birthday, so happy birthday to any Sagittarius out there. We're going to be doing some book reviews. If you're in our community, this is going to make sense to you because we have reviewed some awesome books over there that you guys got over there for free. Before we get started, though, and I'm addressing the people in my community, people that's in our community, because it kind of concerned me today. We had a member, you know, that left one of the groups, the memberships, and I've never seen that member in any of our meetings. If you are a member of the Know Thyself and you're not showing up to, our workshops, our healing groups, beloved, I have to ask yourself, why are we abandoning ourselves? Why are we not showing up for ourselves? Thank you, George Tate 6122. Thank you. Why we're not showing up for ourselves? If you have that membership, the Know Thyself membership, and you're not showing up, for yourself, doing the shadow work and all that, I have to, ask you, you know, why are you not showing up? Ask yourself that. Okay, those are going to be important questions to ask yourself. Let me start on our book review. Who is here from our community and who has reviewed all the materials there? We have interviews from the authors. I want you to be able to listen to these authors and what they discovered in writing uh, the materials because they're recording our ancestors' spiritual practices. And a lot of them took their time talking to different people to make sure they got it right. Who was that? Katrina Hazard had something. Michelle Lee again had a lot of offer to offer as well. That book she got is just, I think she did Mojo Working, if I'm not mistaken. We went through a lot of authors over there. Okay, you guys got a chance to look through the books. I mean, awesome books that record accurate information of hoodoo and how we use hoodoo. Now we're getting to what hoodoo really is and all its totality. So all of you should be understanding that right now. Okay, especially if you listen to the authors' interviews that I've posted there and listen to their relationship with their ancestors and how we used our herbs. If you're a root worker, these books are just heaven to you. The first book we're going to be talking about, the books that we're going to be covering is Working the Roots. You got that book free. You also got an interview with the author that was free as well. We're going to go into these books a little bit, letting you know, giving you a brief little uh, review and a recap of what's in those books and how helpful they are to you in our community. I was very excited to get those books to you. Okay, you got Working the Roots, Mojo Working, and Root Work. Okay, So those books are very important books. Has a lot of ancestral hoodoo, the way they use the plants, the herbs. Those are great books. So let's dive in there. Uh, let's working the roots again. Looking at that text is a very good foundation. It returns to the first language of hoodoo, the language of earth, before there were written spells, preachers, manufactured spiritual supplies. There were roots. Plants were not only tools, they were kinfolk. They were teachers. They were the doctors, the priests who walked beside our people in fields, kitchens, and nighttime healing rooms. This book captures the oral history of how our ancestors used plants for everyday living medicine, for body tonics, and for the mind, herbs for the spirit. Only near the end does the book shift into the explicitly magic dimensions of hoodoo. So when you start going into this book, working the roots, the first thing they're gonna cover, especially if it's written by someone that looks like us, they're gonna cover what hoodoo really is before they even talk about magic. If you looked at this book and listened to the author working the roots, if you listen to her, she's letting you know what hoodoo really is. It's only a small portion of that book that talks about magic. Have anyone saw the book? Have anyone read the book? Has anyone read this book? Working the Roots. See, this is when we actually do the study. Forget what people are telling you here. This is why we go through these books because again, this is a science. This is why we look at what our ancestors forget what these people are telling you. Because your ancestral knowledge is going to come in and clear when you start studying and looking at your ancestors and not these people. This is why I have you looking at that so you can make sense of it. Okay, so you can tell the real from the fake. How many real ones are coming here sitting down having this conversation with you, having an intellectual conversation with you about the spiritual science and the healing modality of hoodoo? So who is slowing it down like this for you here? I want to show them to me. Because I don't want you to be no fool. Okay? I don't want you to be no fool. I'm going to put the power back in your hands so you'll know what it is so you don't get the fake. And I would recommend too, if you are thinking about an ATR, because that's being promoted in marketing, again, all this marketing, which we talk about that in our community, looking at hoodoo because it happened to hoodoo. Don't go over there without consulting your ancestors because you ain't. Don't go over to an ATR such as Ifa, Lakumi, and none of that if you ain't got no relationship with your ancestors. What are you doing? All of that is ancestral. All of that is ancestors. I repeat it again for the people in the back. I know what I'm talking about. But you think you're going to jump over there and get some power and you ain't did no character work. You ain't talked to your ancestors and you think that Oshun, Ogun, any of them want to talk to you when all of it is ancestral. How you think you gonna go past the ancestors and go to them when they're ancestral? They were ancestor first before they became a deity. This is where you get hung up at. And you go back into these religions. Again, this is a religion. Our ancestors didn't have a religion. This is what's hanging some people up. I know this is not a popular truth. You don't want to hear it. But please don't, because you ain't going to get no power. Because you ain't got no initiation. These spirits ain't hearing you. And I done told, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. I done told you that over and over again. It doesn't guarantee them spirits going to be rocking with you if you ain't right. And then what you think of Oshun and Ogun, you think it's something outside them. No, you have to embody the energy. That's why we believe in possession. We have to become Oshun. We have to become Ogun, if you're trying to work with those energies. That's ancestral energy, and you don't understand that. You don't understand the language of spirit. You don't understand any of that. A lot of you are trying to jump over there because they got a whole different way in books they gonna give you for their religion. But the foundation of it, I don't care what none of them say, is ancestral. You can't have any of that stuff without the ancestors. And if you're not right with your ancestors, you confused already when you go over there. You don't know how to talk to your ancestors. You don't know what you're doing. You just following the religion because it looks good to you. You like the aesthetics. That is not the correct reason to get over there. Or you think you're going to get some power. You're going to rule them spirits. You are sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken if that's what you think. Because that's not going to happen. I can assure you of that. If these spirits gonna make you rich, nah, that don't work like that. You're gonna do some work over here in any spiritual system. You're gonna do some work. And if you're not willing to put in that work, then I guess you're gonna stay where you are. Okay? That's how they go. All of this is ancestors. And I would appreciate if the ATRs, instead of trying to get you initiated, I'm telling the truth. I can stand on business here because I know what I'm talking about. You understand me? I wish they would try to stop trying to initiate you and tell you to get right with your ancestors first before you get over there, because that is the correct step to take before you do that. You don't go out here and just go renegade. You didn't create yourself. Okay, you give honor to your ancestors first. You get that in line first, doing the character work before you even jump over there. So when you do go over there, you can progress the way you need to, the way you're supposed to naturally, instead of going over there, don't know anything. And they know that, so it's going to be a lot of gatekeeping with you because they know you don't know nothing. And you ain't going to have no spiritual experience until you start doing the work. I don't care how many books and stuff you read. I don't care how much you intellectualize this. If you're not doing the work, you're not going to have the experience. That's why I I just made a post on TikTok, maybe here, about rituals. Rituals are important. If you ain't consistent with these spirits, they're not going to be consistent with you. If you're going to be flippity flop, they're going to be flippity flop. If you want to be raggedy and work with these higher frequencies and stuff, ain't nothing gonna move and shake for you. Not the way you want it to. I have to be absolutely clear about that because what I'm saying is people jumping over there. I'm coming in contact with people that's in claim to be in the ATR, and yet they're you know they don't know it. That's the first thing they should be teaching you is about ancestral veneration. You should be learning about anything before that. That should be done first before you dump it into a religion. And I kind of I don't like the fact either what's hanging it up and making it look ugly is because it is a religion. They want you to pay all this money to be in there, and it's expensive to be in these religions. They should let you know that up front too. It is expensive to be in Ifa. It is expensive to be in Voodoo, especially if they doing rituals and ebos and stuff. It is expensive. You got to have some money to be over there. So how you think you're gonna get rich over there when you need to have some money when you go over there? That's the thing that hangs people up. That's just my opinion. With that, and then the people that go over there, they're usually dragged over there by their ancestors. paying all that money and not investing has always been crazy to me. I see it in our community though. Who just said that? House of their debt. I see it in our community. I see people that come over here in our community and they get in these different memberships, and then when I start engaging with them, there is no reciprocity, there is no engagement back and forth. So I'm sitting here like, okay, so you said you wanted to do this, do you not want to learn this? Some people, you know, I don't know what is the thinking process on some of that. Okay, on some of that I don't know what the thinking process is that is there. You know, you think when you get over here you ain't gonna have to do no work, you just gonna look at the information. uh I don't know what goes on in people's minds, but I think too, really think about why you're jumping into something, and are you sincere? Because some spirits know when you're not sincere, you're not gonna make no progress. You're not gonna make no progress. You're gonna keep jumping from here to here to here to here, and again, you're the big component to why it's not working. It's not the person, it be us. When we look at what we have to do to get there, we be our own, we get in our own way. I have more so-called initiates than these so-called babalawos. I believe in House of Adele. These people are not pure of heart. They're greedy. I believe it. With some of the prices and stuff, because it's not, spirit don't rock like that with this. They have attached. Yep, money is an energy, it is exchange of energy. But the way these people are doing it, the spirit don't rock the way they're rocking it. They're not interested in that kind of stuff at all. They're interested in people's growth and development. They're not interested in money. Yeah, they're gonna help you take care of yourself. Yeah, they're gonna make sure you don't need anything. The more you master yourself, more things will be opened up to you. But their main focus is not to make everybody rich. You do that on your own with your own magic and your own development by mastering yourself. The more you master yourself, this is how this works. The more access to magic you have. But if you have no self discipline, you have no consistency, these spirits ain't rocking with you. And I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why they got you doing all them rituals and all that stuff when you get over there in those religions. You got to keep those rituals up the way they are prescribed to you to take care of them spirits. You got to be consistent with that. They get that crunk up over there soon, and we get a crunk up over here in our community. As soon as I get you over there, I want you doing rituals because I want you initiating with these spirits. These Orisha lords only care about self mastery and true evolution. That's all they care. Now, if you want to really work with that energy, our ancestors used to go in what they call possession. So you don't understand it. You got to think it's outside of you. You can't embody that energy because you are not Oshun. You're not embodying that energy. You're not Ogun. You're not embodying that energy. That's why a lot of people went through a possession. Again, you have to take on that energy and become your ancestors. But you don't know what you're doing. Some of you don't know what you're doing. You don't understand it. It's not being explained to you. I want to say it's your fault, but you really got to think about why you getting over here, uh, doing this kind of work. And if you're doing it because you think you're gonna be rich or you think you're gonna be able to control people and all that sort of stuff, then you are, I don't know what you're doing. You're not, you probably want to look at that again. Probably want to look at what you're doing again. Okay, I highly recommend that. For those of you who have seen looked at the book Working the Roots, and you're seeing at the very end she's talking about again how our ancestors used the magic with the roots and things like that. I think it's very important for you to see that in that book. She also talks about self-care. Self-care is the main thing. I can't express to you enough. When you guys come to me, I have the most of the things I be hearing, it be a lack of self-care and self-love. You just got to face it. You think you're being good to yourself, but until I talk to you and start, assessing you, then I find out, okay, this person is not really loving on themselves. And, they're not really taking care of themselves the way they think they are. A lot of self-care needs to go on. Okay? Lots of self-care. You think you've been taught to take care of yourself with material things. No. We're talking about holistic self-care, slowing down, resetting your nervous system. Because a lot of our nervous system, we don't know if our magic is even working or not because we can't even feel because our feelings are frozen. We're in survival mode. If you can't feel anything, then your intuition and your magic is going to be off. That's so facts. I learned by seeking knowledge. Yes. Stop listening to what these people are telling you because most of these people, when I can't see them come down here and articulate this and break it down to you, because I want you to is seeing and getting your mind right. I got to get your mind off all this superficial stuff, that the fluff that's being presented to you, and so you can have a greater understanding of hoodoo, so you'll have better foundation, so when you do pick it up and start using it for magic, it's going to work for you. There's no sense in me showing you a spell and I know you don't understand it. You don't understand magic, you don't understand the elements, you don't understand that. So I got to again open you up to that. Our ancestors understood the relationship they had with the elements: air, fire, water, wind, earth. Okay, they they understood that. We got to get you back to understanding that. If you are a root worker in our community, I recommend this book because I mean, she tells you we had postpartum information in there, how to take care of wounds, how to take care of mother and baby, just some great help, especially if you're a doula in our community and you're interested in holistic health. This book is going to be a great book for you. Okay, I love some of the things that the author talked about in the book. I resonated with a lot of it. One of the things, and I didn't hear her mention this. I wonder, do any of you, probably if you're Gen X or older, you're probably going to get what I'm saying. I remember when we used to have our children, and if you had a lot of milk put on you, they would take it, have you put that milk in a pot, and they would take it to the stove and burn it. They would burn it some type of way so your milk, that tripped me out. And after they did that little ritual, your milk never came down again. It tripped me out. I was like, they had that ritual, and then they had the one with camphor, and they would wrap you down. Your chest be wrapped all the way down when they did this ritual. My grandmother did it to me when I had my oldest daughter. They'll wrap all this down and then burn your milk so your milk won't keep coming down. There was a little ritual. Does anyone remember that? Anyone remember that ritual? I'm Gen X, so I saw my grandmother do a lot of things. I didn't know it was hoodoo. Okay, but that's one of the rituals that they used to do. And another thing that became popular. I don't know if you guys remember this. Um, I don't even know the name of the stuff, but to stop our children from getting thrush, that stuff, the milk build up in their mouth, we would use this purple dye, iodine blue stuff. It looked purplish blue. Does anyone remember that? Didn't know a lot was hoodoo. It became secrets. Yes. Anyone remember that? I was told, by my auntie to put that in my daughter's mouth. It was just customary that we used it. Okay, and I put that in my daughter's mouth so she no thrush milk will get built up on her tongue. It was like a purple. I can't even remember the name of it. It was like a purple or blue thing, and it turns their mouth purple or blue. When they open their mouth be purple or blue. Does anyone use that? Because that was customary in our family. Another thing, she talked to, and it burned. It didn't burn at all. It- Are you talking about the milk? Rudy Circle, are you talking about the milk when I talking about when the ancestors used to, my grandmother used to burn the milk on the stove so your milk wouldn't keep coming down after you had a baby? And she burnt it on the stove. It tripped me. I was like, how's that working like that? When I saw her doing it, I was like, how? And it worked. Then they wrap your breast down real tight with a sheet. They wrap it a couple of times and flatten it and burn the milk that burn up that first milk. So yeah, they had some peculiar things. Gelatin, gelatin violet. Maybe that was it. It's so fat. I don't know what the name of the stuff, but I'm just following the elders, my auntie them in our family on how to take care of babies. How we take care of our babies. That's how hoodoo kind of gets stuck in there because you have your elders, your aunties and stuff telling you what to do. So you have other mothers, and they were telling me about you know mother care, baby care, and how we take care of our babies. My grandmother also had this ritual. I don't understand this ritual for anything. She did it to every baby that was born. I don't understand. I know it means something, but I don't understand the ritual. She would take the baby would be newborn. We would be newborn, and she would take her pinky and she would, dip it in a little whiskey or gin and swipe our mouth with it. It would be during a moon. It would be during a full moon. She would swipe our mouth with it and then say this prayer and kind of lift us up to lift us up to the sky. It used to be a starry full moon night when she did this, and she would say, and she, it was just normal. She did that to every baby born. I never understood it, but I never questioned it either. How you doing, Ethel Strength? That's probably what it is. Gentian violet used for yeast infections. I think that's, yeah, because we put it on the baby's tongue. So that was one of the things that we used in our community as well. Okay, you just saw. Did we know it was? I didn't know it was hoodoo because it was normal. Okay, it was just normal. We that's how we did things. Then my grandmother with these rituals. I still don't understand the rituals. Now I go back now that I get deeper in hoodoo. It's almost like the ancestors, all these memories that's in your DNA will start surfacing in your mind. Because the memories are there once you start slowing down and doing the work, especially going through this book. I love this book because it brought so much up in my mind when I was going through the book and listening to the author's interview, listen to her lecture. But again, that ritual, I don't know, understood. I still don't understand that ritual my grandmother would do to all of us when we were born, newborn babies. And she would swig our mouth with this alcohol and hold us up and say this prayer. So I think there was some type of indigenous thing or whatever. I just have little memories like that. It comes to me as if I'm practiced it during that time. That's it. That's how I do. Stain everything. Yeah, it did. It stained everything. It sure did. And then another thing, I see. I didn't know my mama knew stuff. See, they be was knowing stuff. But I remember when I first started going through the change, and I was having them hot flashes, honey, baby child. It was miserable. I was miserable, and I was telling my mom about it. And she mentions this in this book, and I have referred a lot of women to that. It seemed like women have come up to me. That happened to me a couple of times. Women I didn't know, and they were having hot flashes, and they would come up to me and say, "Do you know anything?" It was a trip how it would happen, but they would say, "Do you know anything about hot flashes?" or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I do. I think you should use this tonic. But it is a tonic called Lady Pinkerton. And it's mentioned in this book. I tripped out when I said that is a ancestral tonic that the women used to use. It's got black cohosh in it. But she mentions that and you can get this from an old school drugstore. They usually have it in the old school drugstore. I haven't seen it in the new drugstore. And honey, I got myself on that Lady Pickerton, and I was on there for 2 weeks, and no more menopause symptoms, no more hot flashes. Okay. So again, go through that book because I was like, oh my gosh, she preserved a lot of knowledge in that book. She did her homework. Okay, so I recommend that you go through that book, especially if you're a root worker, you're a doula, uh, you're using these herbs to heal, do any healing work. You're gonna need it in the first place. Cause I tell you, once you start doing this root work and healing, you kind of open yourself up more and more spiritual with your spiritual baths, getting to work with those herbs like that, working with water, praying over your water. You start building up your ashe and using it to get yourself in alignment. That's why we went over elemental, magic to show you how these elements show up and why our ancestors was praying over water, why they were praying over things. Okay? Why they were setting intentions. So again, if you are looking at the healing, more of a holistic approach, because some people get into hoodoo because they love root work. They love healing on people. I think that's great. Okay. They work well with plants and things like that. They understand. We got so many practitioners in our community that are root workers. And so some of you are great root workers and you know what you're doing. Yeah, I know you know what you're doing, but I got to convince you know what you're doing. We got a lot of talented practitioners in our community and they know what they're doing. They just got to be affirmed that they know what they're doing. Okay, because what they're seeing out here is not matching up with their experience. And I have to tell you, stop watching a lot of these people because a lot of people come up here and say stuff just to be saying stuff to be relevant in this algorithm. Social media got them, not them spirits. They are influencers. They're not mentors. They're ego driven and power driven, not spirit driven. Okay. I don't care how popular, how many followers they got, or none of that stuff. I don't care. I'm telling you what I'm seeing with my own eyes. And some of you guys are falling for the okie doke because, some people like superficial stuff. Okay. And even when you get over there with me, I'm going to get you to looking at those spirits because that's the idea. If you do not want to have spiritual contact, don't get into magic because that's what's going to happen. Forget what you heard. In any work that you're going to be doing in hoodoo, you're going to be working with a spirit. I'm going to repeat this again because I get people with me come over here and say, how do I do this spell? Okay, you got that together. Who you going to work with? What day you going to do it? Nobody's understood. We don't just go and do stuff somebody show us the next day. We put thought into it. Forget what you heard. Forget what you're seeing here. We don't just set lights anytime we want to. We don't just, we do a divination. There are steps to this. I got to get you to slowing down and understanding that. Okay? That's why we go through these books. You want somebody to show you something. It's in the books when you sit down and learn. Stop wanting what I think the thing is we want to learn everything from YouTube. We want to learn everything from videos. We don't want to sit down and slow down, and that is your biggest mistake. That is your biggest mistake because that's when the spiritual communication begins to happen. When you start using your mind, opening your mind, and reading things, that's when the spiritual communication happens. But you don't want to do that. Some of you don't want to do that. You want to listen to people. You want to follow people, which is getting you hung up. You don't want to see the truth in the book. These I seen somebody come up here and make up some more stuff about ancestors. Then there's some more. I mean, the stuff that be being spewed out, and people. I wonder how many people out here that they sincerely have a relationship with spirit the way they claim to. That's what I wonder. I am concerned about the people who are being scammed right now because of their, their perspective or their comprehension of what it is. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about the practitioners that come here and the way they present this and know nothing about it. I'm concerned about that. Okay. So again, when you're going through this book, at the very end of the book, I think it's in the last chapter. It's a very vast book. Love the book. Um, she talks about magic at the very end, and these are rituals that our ancestors used in different spiritual situation because hoodoo was healing their life. It was fixing their life. Okay. And so they were already in alignment with their work. Just by looking at that book, you can pretty much see, you know, this work was about alignment more than it was about magic. And they weren't doing as much magic as people think, more than they were doing some sort of ritual or alignment work, a sort of ritual and steps that they took uh, to resolve issues, be it psalms, herbs. These were, again, rituals. And sometimes you would have to be consistent depending on the work. This was not like a spell. Some of the work was ongoing. You have to do it days in a row. It worked better when you layered with a bath or fasting. Instead of just lighting a candle, you had to put some ashe on top of that. You had to put some of your ashe, some of your energy. This is about consistency. You think that you're just lighting a candle and going, just letting it burn. No, you have to go back there and work that candle. You got to go back and work whatever you working. The name of the book is Working the Roots. It's a popular book. They advertise it here on TikTok. I'm sure you've seen it advertised. Uh, they're on TikTok, Working the Roots, because I've seen it advertised there on TikTok. Okay. So I was very happy to be able to get you guys that book. Please review that book if you're a root worker. There's a lot of helpful, great information in that book. I was just blown away with some of the things that she found in that book. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this she did extensive research." Okay? So go in there, look through that book, and I've given you interviews with the author to give you a greater comprehension. And now I'm coming here giving you a brief recap and lecture on the book and how I could see, some of the things that my family did within the book. Okay. Hi, Carter Lewis. Thank you. Thank you. It's my birthday. I thought I would get it, just do something with myself just a little bit. So, yeah, so read that book. You have that book, access that book, look through that book. Thank you. Thank you, Carter. Look through that book. You want to keep that book in front of you. I know we have went through a lot of resources. You do. You have a lot of resources to help you start putting things together. Thank you, Pickle Bread. Uh, I know, putting things together. So take your time. Please do not go past go. If you're new in our community, welcome. We're happy to have you. But please do your ancestor veneration. Get those rituals together first. Read those materials. Perfect your spiritual baths, your spiritual protection. Get that together first. Do the healing work first before you start going out there doing anything heavy with magic. Do the magic on you first. Start getting your energy in alignment. Use that self. These are self care. Our ancestors used this for self care because they knew they were in a raggedy environment. It's just beautiful to hear that author say that, and she started crying because I feel the same way when the DNA memory come up and you these ancestors start coming up and you can feel what happened to them, and then you start processing your own crap. It you feel all these ancestors echoing through your DNA that deserve, that needs this self care, that worked to the day they died. I have to tell you, get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. I literally mean it. I literally mean get somewhere and be quiet. Practice not doing nothing. Practice that. And if you can't do that, that's you already know what's going on with you. Thank you, Cat Rice. Okay. Someone tell Cat Rice the name. If I can go back up here, have I moved down too much? The name of the book is Working the Roots. It's been advertised all over TikTok, so you should be able to find it. Working the Roots. Very good book. Uh, has a lot great records and documents about how our ancestor works with roots and herbs. And you will see that hoodoo is more than magic. Hoodoo is a save your life, a fix your life if you let it. But if you going around here doing what these other folks doing, I don't know how far you gonna get with it. I really don't. I really don't. And then trying to do it without ancestral veneration. Why would you want to do this without Yes, yes, by Michelle Lee. She gave a very good a lecture on the book. You go watch, check out her lecture on YouTube if you want to listen to her and talk about the book. I think it's very interesting just to watch the way she talked about it. It was just, I felt something. I felt something when she was talking about the book, and I felt like she went through, awakening start happening with her. I don't know. I just really was uh in tune with her when she was talking about her book and talking about her experience. I was like, oh, I just resonated with that so much. So you could tell that she has this deep affinity for the ancestors and the way this knowledge was coming through her. So I appreciate the book. I appreciate the lecture. Go check out her lecture on YouTube that she has on the book. If you have in our community, you got the lecture, her lecture, and the book, and then you got some of my insight on the book as well. And then I'm coming here today talking about a little bit of it. Okay. But I'm telling you guys, you do yourself a disservice. Stop listening to these people. That's why I have these authors in front of you so you can have a better comprehension of hoodoo than this marketeering fluff crap that's being promoted. Okay, I want that for you. And for a lot of you, it's disappointing because a lot of you like the fluff and the crap. A lot of you love that. You know, you like the Santa Claus stuff. I don't be careful with that. It's a trend. Offering no healing. It's all this root talking. You ain't lying. Because when you get over there with me, that's the first thing I put on your face. And some people don't they don't get that. But I'm gonna put that healing in your face. I'm gonna constantly be putting shadow work in your face. I'm gonna be putting that in your face. You say you want to get better, you want to perfect that. Then that if you see me putting it in your face, it is not to insult you. It's again to help you get you closer to your ancestors. Because the more you heal, the more you're gonna clear up the communication with your ancestors. You're going to repair your aura, your energy. That's what we're doing here. Yeah, they ran us away from shadow work. The people don't want to do that. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, the black golden girl. Okay. They're running us away from that. But I'm gonna put it in your face, and I'm not gonna give you that no fluff. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay? You keep that. You need to go look that up. Sagittarius, we're the truth tellers. Don't nobody like being around us because we don't put no fluff in something. We don't tell you things to just make you feel. We're gonna tell you the truth because that's the only thing gonna help you. So you think I'm gonna sit up here and lie to you? I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you the truth and do it with love and compassion. But you are going to get the truth. I'm not gonna put fluff on anything for you. It's not gonna help you at all. And who knows better than that than a Sagittarius? I'm just telling you. Okay, so I'm not gonna put no fluff on for you, but I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. I'm gonna mentor you with love, compassion, what you deserve. I'm not gonna withhold any good thing from you. I want you to, excel, get everything that's rightfully yours when it comes to this hoodoo. I want that for you. That's why I'm gonna give it to you the right way and give you your power. I'm gonna keep putting it in your hand till you understand what it is. You say this what you want, I'm gonna give you what you want. And you think, magic, get over here, you're gonna be working with spirits. So if you don't want to work with no spirit, don't come over here and hoodoo, because that's what we do over here. We conjure, we talk to spirits, we talk to ancestors. Don't get over here with you haven't decolonized Christianity and you still got that over. Don't get in hoodoo, because you're gonna do no mess yourself up. Okay, don't come over here. Don't come over here. Go over there. I don't know what to tell you. You have to decolonize that first and get all this spooky crap out your head. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to Mojo Working. This is a good book as well. Now, what I saw with this author, I think her name is Katrina Hazard. She dropped some truth bombs in there, and I was just shocked. Did you guys watch the interview in there? Did you hear what she said about Mr. Hyatt, the man that wrote the book Conjure Root Work? I'm nerdy. You guys know I'm nerdy. So if you can't keep up, I told you guys we're going to be having a conversation on here. It's going to let me know how much you've been, comprehending in our course. Okay, we're gonna have a discussion here at your birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Penny. Thank you, Miss Sepia Goddess. I love your personality. You're exactly what I need in my life. You remind me of deceased favorite Auntie Jackie. Oh, don't say that. You're gonna make me cry because I got an Auntie Jackie that passed away. Her name was Jackie, and she was my favorite aunt. Oh gosh, that's crazy. Are you coming through here now that I'm talking? That's crazy. How that had an ancestor do stuff. Ugh. Okay, I like what she was saying. I didn't know that. Did you know? See, I said I got to sit down and talk about it. But we have posted his book in our community. His name was Hyatt. He was a white guy that went across the country documenting hoodoo. She said, I love when our ancestors tell it from their perspective. I think me and her, she could be older than me. Katrina Hazard could be a little older than me. But she said that he was passing for black. He went our community and presented himself as a black man to document hoodoo. I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Did you guys know that?" Okay, she said he was posing as black. He went to black establishments, hotels in the black community so he can drop down our ancestors' defenses, and they were more likely to open up to him if they believed that he was black. I said, "Are you kidding me?" So our ancestors, when they're giving him all the inside scoop, They're thinking that he's black, but he's not black. That's crazy. I got kind of ticked off about that. I ain't know. I said, so you sitting up here making a, what are you doing? This is gonna make sense why I say this, because she addressed this in this book, and I love when this is being addressed. This is gonna be hot and probably make some people pissed off when I go into this, but I got to go into it because I got to tell the truth, and I really want you to understand the components of hoodoo, so you get all the superficial crap won't be in there. But she said that he presented himself as black, and then she said, well, the way he marketed himself, trying to get these stories, he basically told anybody who knew a hoodoo story or had the experience of hoodoo that he would pay them $5. And she said he did this in a rural area where people, they were living in scarcity. Of course, he had people probably telling him stuff that wasn't even true. So we can't, so we got, because our ancestors just needed money. They're gonna tell him any old thing because they just want the $5, and $5 was a lot back then to the people that were living in a rural area. That sounds about right though. Yeah, that's what I said. Now I got to look in that book in a whole brand new way. When she said that, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So this whole book is full of deception, basically. And I just sat there for a minute with that. And then she went into talking about the marketeering. When other, well, when non-black people, I'm gonna say it that way, when non-black people found out about our, because again, they found out about our hoodoo, our spiritual sciences, and again, we broke when it came to medicine and stuff. We were showing them about medicines and cures they didn't even know about. We had cures for smallpox and things like that they didn't even know about. Okay, so a lot of what you see in the medical industry in America, they would have never been able to cure or treat a lot of these diseases without the assistance of our ancestors, because they understood plant medicine. A lot of these people did it. They didn't know how to use nature to heal, especially with the midwives. When they was getting rid of the midwives, and I like the discussion she was having on the midwives, because she said these midwives, they were going everywhere. She did a recording on this. She said she was recording the midwives. It was about two or three of them that was working as really midwives, but it was 100 of them listed at midwives. So that got her to thinking. I just like the way she just discovered everything. I said the same thing though, and you've heard me say it. She said, "Why is it only three or four women delivering babies, but yet we have 80 or 90 midwives registered?" And then she started putting it together. She said these women were conjure women and root workers. Of course, they were using, and she put it together that the caretaker, the undertaker, and the midwives was all working together because they all needed each other. The conjure woman needed stuff from the graveyard. See how smart our ancestors was? The country woman or country man needed something from the graveyard. And she also needed, again, a lot of those fluids and stuff they used, the afterbirth and placenta. She needed that in working in some of her workings, and she started putting together. She said they were all of what we think is midwives. These were root workers and conjure women. Thank you, working the roots. Okay. I said, oh my God. But I figured that before she even said that, I put that together. Because there was no doctors there. There was women doing all the care. They the one who knew where the herbs and stuff was. Thank you, Kosan. Tripped me out. She said, yes, so all of them would have been working together. The undertaker, the caretaker, and the midwives. They would all be working together, especially if they were, into the ancestral magic. And all them, if you met some of the people in the profession personally, she said that all of them was practicing the ancestral magic. So, and they did, because we buried our own. We delivered our own children. Okay, we took care of our own people. So hoodoo stayed more preserved like that. It stayed more preserved, when again, and I don't like to say it like this, but lack of a better term, we were segregated among ourselves. Hoodoo was in full swing and strong as ever. That's what I'm hearing here when she's explaining this. But they were just so smart. You see how smart they was, and then they embedded in the culture so much with us. We didn't even know we was working hoodoo. Hell, they forgot they was working hoodoo, because when we tell them that's what they doing, they get mad. I don't know what to think about that. On the other hand, I'm kind of happy they did it that way. But then on the other hand, it makes it hard to let the older generation help them understand. I don't know if they forgot what that was and they're calling it Christian. I don't know, but it makes it hard to communicate what is going on with them, because they think it's just all Christian and it's not. So it has a two-edged effect. You're glad because they preserved it and they hid it, embedded in the culture, but it also has created a disconnect for us as well, because it got stuck in Christianity. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But I was so interested, in hearing her putting things together, and I like the way she was thinking. If you see the interview, you could see her mind. I don't know if something happens, especially if you're deep in your practice and you get around other practitioners and you're talking about our ancestors past and how they did magic, and we go to talking and all these light bulbs start going off. And that's what it did to me. And you saw her interviewing with Hoodoo Cast. I think that was his name. That's the name of his platform there on YouTube. He's interviewing her and he's telling her what he found on his own, and there's so many other light bulbs come out. Another interesting thing in the interview, if you are guys have watched this interview, you can find it on YouTube. We're talking about Mojo Working. I think it's by, if I'm not mistaken, it's by Katrina Hazard, if I'm not mistaken. Go watch that interview. But she goes to tell him that she went to a priest. I thought this is funny because I have mentioned this when I talk about working with the ATRs. But she talks about her experience that she had with this hoodoo conjure man or priest. I don't know if he was her uncle or her dad, but she said that he made her. I think he made her a mojo bag or something, and she said he tied it 16 times, and every time he tied a knot in it, he put a prayer in the knot that came from this. He put a psalm in the knot. Every time he tied the knot, he was saying a prayer into the knot. And she said, oh, because she was paying, because that's how we be putting things together. We be watching. She said she went somewhere else and she saw the same thing. Was it in leukemia or EFA? It was one of the ATRs, and they did the same thing to her with an ado. It tripped her out because she thinking to herself, where did her uncle or that country man learn that from? See how I tell you, you will be doing the right thing and not even know you doing it. You could be working with it, be doing it right. How did he know to do that? But she saw the similarities in that. Okay, and she also talked about too, and I said this, I love these highlights. Um, how we have to look at other ATRs to be able to understand the spiritual concepts of hoodoo. I love what she says, okay? I love the way she's breaking this down because, again, this is someone who is studying the craft. They have a great understanding of the ancestral magic. Not many people are breaking it down like this. This is why I want you to listen to the authors and the real seasoned practitioners, not no fake people up here. That's why I got to slow you down so you can get the right knowledge. And then I give you the book so you can't get it twisted. I'm not just telling you this. I want you to see this is what our ancestors wrote down. This is our science. This is what it is. So you can start, unpacking all the lies that is superficial crap. I'm sorry it's been given to you so you can get that out your mind and start looking at it the correct way. Okay. I also like the part two. I also like the part where she talked about marketeering. Now this is going to be very sticky for some people. Okay. Because Hoodoo, when we have covered a lot of books in our community when it comes to folk magic, American folk magic, especially when it comes to North American folk magic. And you've seen them, they most of them cannot mention their magic. You even have some Wicca books. They cannot mention their magic without mentioning Hoodoo. And we have some out there really believe that they're practicing hoodoo. They are, and that's one of the things that she addressed. Because I said, and I was happy to see that concerned her because that concerned me too. You have them having hoodoo organizations, root worker organizations, and they are over them. They start watering down. You have them selling conjure and hoodoo products, and they are not connected to our ancestors whatsoever. We have told them plenty of time this is a closed practice. Now you have some of too that's using the name hoodoo to describe their magic to draw in clients. I mean, it's like our stuff just be used over and over again. Black people, I mean, you got immigrants using our identity. You got people stealing our music. It just goes. I'm like, if you don't like us so much, why do y'all spend so much time trying to steal stuff? It baffles me. If we ain't got nothing, and we ain't nothing but a whole bunch of slaves and all that, why do you constantly keep trying to take stuff from us? I don't get it. If you don't like our hair, why you wearing braids and stuff? If you don't like our skin, why you standing in the sun trying to get black? Make it make sense. You don't make. That's why I say God, am I supposed to be in this world? That's why I don't like talking to people. I don't like talking to some of these people, especially they don't look like me. And I'm having that problem here at Thai. I go to that store over there. I don't say anything to those light skinned people, those pale faced people. I don't say anything, especially uh, if they're men. I just mind my own business. And I know I look pretty peculiar because I don't say nothing. They speak to me, I say hello, and I keep it moving. I don't have time to have a conversation with you. I don't. I don't want to have no small talk. Why are you so interested, in what I got going on? I'm gonna stay a mystery to you because you're never gonna know because I'm never gonna open up and talk and volunteer any information coming from my mouth to you. Why are you so interested? It just trips me out. It trips me out. It really, really does. And they really believe that they are practicing hoodoo. Why come you couldn't come up with your own? That's the main thing. Because these people they start again selling back fake products that didn't have no power or nothing in them, especially that Lucky Mojo. You see that with that Lucky Mojo shop. That is not black owned, but they set up like that, like they're black owned. They're not. Most of the most commercialized hoodoo shops are not owned by people that look like us. That's why I have to tell a lot of my practitioners look around on Facebook or TikTok and see which practitioners making their own stuff and buy for them. Don't buy commercial stuff. I would have people come into my shop when I had a metaphysical shop. they would pass up the commercial stuff and buy the stuff I made because they didn't want the commercial stuff because they knew what it was. They would want the stuff that I made versus the commercial stuff. What was the another company? Somebody had the fun. Somebody found out that the art of the root wasn't a conjure place, but they were promoting. They wasn't again of color, but they're promoting their products, Hoodoo products. You're gonna see that over and over and over and over again. That's why I got to get you. You are, and I have to tell them this: you're not practicing Hoodoo. You're practicing folk magic if you're using our stamp on it. That's what then happened there to draw it in. But why use our stuff? How come is witchcraft not strong enough? Could you not come up with something else? I mean, why do y'all have to jump in? I don't understand it. You don't like us. You know, you think that you're practicing hoodoo because we have some of the same folk practices, but you are not. You might be practicing some granny magic, okay? Some granny folk magic, but the deeper you go into hoodoo, the and more ancestral it gets. So you're not doing that. So don't think that you are. And it look a little bit like y'all's, but it's not yours. And they would name it hoodoo. So, I see how passionate she was about that. She was also open to the fact that again, it's changing, it's evolving, and it's going to evolve. That pissed some people off because they want the traditional old school. They want it to stay the same. But as young people come in, and people are going to different areas, I can attest to that because my hoodoo has had to kind of advance and change since being in Thailand. So I had to be very creative in my practice, but I still practice. But it's going to evolve and change depending on the new generation and how they're going to use it in their life. But a lot of the concepts and things they remain the same. I'm meeting our people who think they're witches, and I'm like, that's a European thing. It is a European thing. They really think that and they think that they're practicing hoodoo. But I showed you that in a lot of that we went over. That's why we went over North American folk magic. That's why we went into mountain conjure. That's why we went into a lot of the things because a lot of things that they learn, we share some common traits. Folk magic does share common traits across the board. It does. But then I have to tell you in the same breath, just because it looked the same, it is not the same when we start working with ancestors. It's a whole different ballpark for us than it is for you. Some of the stuff we can share with you that's you know basic stuff, but then when a lot of the work, when we go deeper in our work, it becomes ancestral. Okay. Now you want to call that hoodoo because you're working with your ancestors, then you still using a name that you gave to us for your stuff. I just don't get it though. I don't get why you don't want your own stuff and why do y'all I don't get it. That's why I be side eyeing them. I side eyeing them all the time. The young Asian girl on TikTok talking about, I side eye them every time. I side eye them when I'm walking down the street. I side eye you because you're the only criminal that is a threat to everyone that don't nobody want to lock up. So I'm always side eyeing you. Didn't want to get mad because somebody side eyeing you. Have you looked at your ancestors? That shouldn't even shock you. That wouldn't even shock me if my ancestors was raggedy, and now everybody side eyeing me because my ancestors raggedy and they still raggedy. And now I'm mad because people side eyeing me. That shouldn't even shock you. You know, God, am I supposed to be in this world? God, I just, make it make sense. And this is why people are mentally sick because of you. Because of you. The whole world is sick with colorism and stuff. The Asians over there calling each other out because they got it over there. I've seen it here in Thailand. I've seen all this coloring. You done made the whole world sick with your stuff because somebody's skin. You need to get somewhere and sit down. It's so, the more awake you get, the more you see the sickness. The more you heal, you see the sickness. You see what made you sick. Yeah, I side eye you. I side eye you. Especially when you want to get mad when somebody calling you out and you know you come from raggedy stuff. That's the stuff that get me. It ain't nothing that you have to wonder about or look for. You know this, and you're still doing it. That's the part to get me. I'm not gonna. That's why we go crazy going back and forth with them. And we done told other minorities of people of color about them, and y'all still want to play with them like that, thinking you a special token to them. Are you want to be like them? You want to assimilate to them? You're surprised that they do what they're doing right now. For real? I'm always side-eyeing you. Even the ones that say I would never do that to you guys, you have to prove yourself to me. If you ain't being no a bulletproof vest for me, then I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Okay? Okay? That's my take on that. So don't be coming over here, look at your stuff. It's the audacity to me. The things y'all say, it's like I don't know what kind of bubble you're living in. Like, have you looked at the historical, your, look at your stuff. That would be my thing. And the marketeering, I just see it all the time with our stuff. They're always taking our stuff and then say you ain't got no culture. Y'all ain't got no. But why you trying to walk like us? Why you trying to dance like us? Why you got your hair like us? Why? If we ain't that, why are you trying so hard to be like us? You're not us. Then you want to tell us who we are. We know who we are. We don't need you to tell. That's the problem. That's your problem. You need to shut your mouth because you don't know who we are. You're still trying to figure that out. You're still mesmerized by our walk, our talk, our fashion, our culture, and all of that. You're still how we still stand. You're still mesmerized by that. So you can't tell us who we are. Okay, that's not, and I agree with her when it came to that marketeering. It has gotten uh out of control. And you got people going to these websites booking this stuff. These people are not, they are not people of color, and they're hiding behind these sites. I mean, it'll trip you out. You go do the research. They have a ATR, Hoodoo ATR. And when you start looking at the practitioners that's listed on that website, all of them are pale, most of them are pale faced people. It tripped me out. I'm like, how y'all gonna hijack something that didn't happen to you? It is the audacity, the anger that I feel, the audacity, the blasphemy that you're doing right now. You just want to continue the blasphemy and really stay away from them people. Stay away from them people. I would be afraid to deal with them people. You have no respect for our ancestors whatsoever. What have you sacrificed for us to be able to do that? How are you contributing, giving back to our community, but you want to make money off our community with our name? It's the audacity for me. And then beat you get mad about your stuff. They'll beat you get mad about your stuff. But then can't talk about their stuff without talking about your stuff, because their stuff don't have no power without talking about your stuff. I show it to you over and over again, over there and in the community. I keep showing it to you because I want you to get that in your head. It ain't because Hoodoo don't work. It's because it worked very damn well. I got to get you to understand it. It works very damn well when you know what you're doing. Hey, Nandy. It works very damn well when you know what you're doing. Okay? Now, they can say that if they're doing Hoodoo, but I got to say, our ancestors ain't the same. I got an ancestor called Nat Turner. Can you work with Nat Turner? Can you work with him? Got an ancestor called Malcolm X. Can you work with Malcolm X? Can you work with Malcolm X? Got an ancestor called Nina Simone. Can you work with Nina Simone? She's very clear about what she liked and didn't like. She's very vocal about that. Can you work with Nina Simone? No, you're not practicing Hoodoo. You ain't practicing, because we practice black belt Hoodoo. That's what she talked about there in the book as well. Get that in your head. You can't work with some of them because some of them you're not practicing Hoodoo. Hoodoo is revolutionary. It's Black Panther like. You can get over here and you can start messing around if you want to, playing footsie and stuff over here if you want to. I don't know what you're practicing that you're calling Hoodoo, but it's definitely not Hoodoo. You must don't know our ancestors. You don't know our story. You're taking a rainbow, I have a dream approach to Hoodoo. And we didn't have that. Hoodoo was born out of something ugly. It was born out of something ugly because some of your ancestors did. It is a total disrespect for you to even call it that. And you know you can't work with all the ancestors over here. So why would you even play like that? Go look at it, y'all. I'm talking about it because it's happening right now. They're doing it right now before our eyes. This ain't something that they stopped doing. They still doing it. And will argue you down about your stuff. Argue you down. I think it's a disrespect to put your face on something like that. There's no shame in that. You just gonna do that like that, and put your be the you want to be the first one in front. You don't think that there's something wrong with that? Something is wrong with that. You shouldn't want to put your face on nothing, and it belonged to us. Why? I recommend y'all watch out for them. Okay, don't be discouraged by them. Because that's what you're going to see that's being commercialized. Yeah, they're going to tell you you can go on their ATR, you can go on their website, get in their official program, and be listed as a root worker. You go look at the website, they listed over there. Okay, and then you have people, and I've been doing this a long time. I've been reading for a long time. I even had them to come look for me. Some of them want a reader that look like me because they don't want no reader that look like them. They've sat there and told me that before. I didn't want them. I want you. I've had people to come look for they didn't know me from a can of paint. They claim they got in their car and their GPS took them right to me and it tripped them out. I have to speak on it because look, y'all go back and look at what you're doing when you're claiming to be hoodoo. Look at what happened when y'all start doing the marketeering, when you start commercializing stuff. We're gonna go into this subject a lot more deeper uh as we move on through this month, because we're going to go back into this again, and you're going to see this being repeated by a lot of hoodoo practitioners, and it's very prevalent now. Another good example of this, what is her name? People love her. Hoodoo Delish. Hoodoo Delish, I think that's her name. Delish. Hoodoo Delish. Again, that person is not a person of color, but she claims to practice hoodoo. You see the Lucky Mojo site? Those people claim to be, yeah, again, these people don't look like you. So be careful out there with the marketing that's going on. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Hoodoo Delish, she's been out there for a long time. I'm not knocking and saying that what she's doing doesn't work. But I'm just giving you example at people will use our stuff and they don't look like us and how I be marketeering. They'll use our stuff, you know. My thing is, why you didn't come up with your own stuff? Is your own stuff, is do it not work? You got to claim to be a righteous people because we are righteous. Because your stuff's so ragged over there, you got to claim, you know, what you doing. No, you ain't practicing hoodoo. Because Nina Simone ain't going to talk to you. Fred Hammond ain't going to talk, Hampton ain't going to talk to you. Hoodoo ain't that. You're talking about revolutionary people that were fighting uh, systemic racism. Okay, this ain't that. This is not that. And I'm talking about the ones you know you ain't got no affiliation with our ancestry whatsoever. These are the ones I'm talking. You have no affiliation. You don't give back to our community. You don't, you know, you like our stuff, but you don't like us. You know who I'm talking to. Appropriating stuff. A lot of that stuff happening. And again, she addresses that in the book. And I want you to be aware of that because it's a lot of them out there claiming it's alarming. And what really made me alarming, I know y'all don't like me hear me keep talking about it. It was very alarming to see them jump in, you know, see them being initiated in the ATRs. And of course, if you're Black America, to us, when we see y'all doing this, because we know when we see y'all doing this in Africa and these other places, initiating people that don't look like us, we're going to side eye the hell out of you. And we probably don't want to get over there in that because we already know. And you got some of them in there that, you know, they pale face and we side eyeing you. You telling us that we got to be initiated. What are you talking about here? I don't think it's closed at all. What do you mean it's closed? What do you mean? Oh, you mean it's closed because I ain't got the money. But you initiate anybody who got the money. That's not closed. I have to be very, very, you know, direct. That's not closed. That don't mean closed. And nobody owns a spirit. You can't tell me I can't talk to an Orisha or a Loa because I'm not in their religion. That doesn't make sense. Again, you know, you sound like something going on with you. You can't tell me this all ancestral. All of them ancestors. So how the hell you gonna tell me I can't talk to or an Orisha? I can't talk to. I'm telling you the truth. Or a Loa because I'm not in your religion. That's just like telling me I can't talk to God because I'm not in the religion. It's in my bloodline. What are you talking about? It doesn't change the fact that the Loas and the Orishas are running through my DNA. Is something wrong with you? See, they leave that whole thing out. These are nations that's running through my bloodline. Running through my blood, my veins right now. But you're gonna tell me I have to. It's ridiculous. See, really, that's when it don't. It should tell you something. It starts sounding like Christianity and the foolery, like religion, because it starts sounding like foolery. You know what I'm saying? When I see them saying that, you're talking foolery. That's what religions do. It goes into a point where they don't want you thinking and putting it together. They want you to think the way they want you to think. They want you, if you ain't programmed aligned with their thinking, then you're wrong. It requires you to think like them. You can't think outside the box. Now you know darn well the laws were here before the religions. The ancestors was here before the religion. So what are you talking about? I'm not disrespecting or knocking your rituals. That's what you have to communicate with the laws of Orisha. By all means, I honor that. I respect that. What I don't respect is what you telling me what I can and can't do because I'm not in your religion. That's what I'm knocking. You sound like Christian, like brainwashed stuff. Because you know I got these nations running through my vein and you know they're ancestral. So who you playing with? See, I'm gonna knock it all down for you so you'll get it. And you see that in the same breath and say, oh, you know the Orishas are ancestral. Oh, you know the Lord's ancestral. So why you playing like that? That means anytime I get down with these ancestors, I'm gonna come in contact with one of them. If I'm dedicated to my ancestral veneration, if I'm true to this, they might start rolling up on me because that's in my bloodline. That's why we got crossroads spirits in hoodoo. In order to understand why we got some of the things in hoodoo, we got to look at voodoo. We got to look at the Orisha. Because I can't tell you they're not going to roll up on you when you start practicing this. It's in your bloodline. DNA memory. I don't know what's going to come up. And neither do someone else. I don't care what the Babaloa or the priestess is telling you. We're talking about ancestors now. And they talking about the same thing. But you're going to make it different because now it's a religion. It doesn't change the fact that it's ancestral. Stop complicating that for people. Don't come. It's really simple, but you complicated. Y'all complicated when y'all put y'all religious stamp on that, and that's what's been hanging people up and messing people up. Cause you can't, cause you want to profit off of it. Religion makes sure you profit and you buying people down, you gatekeeping all that stuff. I'm not saying gatekeep ain't necessary because some people downright crazy and they don't need to be messing with something they don't understand. I understand why some gatekeeping is done. But the way you're doing it now, I think it is I think it's a spiritual crime. If there's such a thing, I'm gonna make that up. I think it's a spiritual crime what you're doing. It's ancestral. And I'm not making it up. You can go look this up for yourself. Now you can keep messing over there thinking you're jumping over there by bypassing the ancestors getting in ATR. No, you aren't. You're gonna run right into them ancestors again. There ain't nothing gonna be shaking and moving for you until you get the basic, a better foundation. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Now you can get over there if you want to and pay all that money, you know, if you want to. And that's a spiritual crime in itself. You supposed to be priest and priestess. This is what the so-called Jesus was talking about. You setting up merchants and all that stuff in the temple. It's supposed to be based on charity, love, compassion, and grace. They ain't supposed to be initiating people. Supposed to be praying for people, not soliciting people to initiate. Because not everybody supposed to be initiated. Their ancestors supposed to be taking them over there. You'll know if you're supposed to be over there because your life will be. You'll know. Believe me, you'll know if you need to be over there. You'll have no other choice but to get over there. Okay, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. All them rituals and all that stuff. All you're gonna be out some money. But make sure that's what you want to do. You'll know what you think you get some power. And please stop presenting it to people that way because they have more responsibility. Because if they're not consistent with those rituals and doing the character work, their life gonna get jacked up messing with that kind of power they don't understand. They don't understand they have to become Oshun. They got to become a Batala. They got to become these characteristics got to be exuding from you. And some of you go over there raggedy and picking up stuff and you get more raggedy and more raggedy. You know, please stop doing people like that. Tell them that they have to do some work. And I don't think a lot of people be into that. They come in our community, they think you're going to bypass that. No, you're not. I don't care what these practitioners that's raggedy and they coming out here, doing raggedy stuff. No, you can't be like that over here. No, you're not. You're not going to go make no progress like that. So if you want to be raggedy, petty, and all that kind of stuff, I don't recommend you get over here. You're going to do some work. Ain't nothing going to move the way you want it to until you do that work. And it's all about healing. You should want to heal. You should want that. But if you have no intentions on healing, I don't know how far or how your practice is going to grow. If it's going to grow at all. If you're going to be, because these spirits over here, they vibrate at a very high frequency. And the stuff that you want, money and love and all that, you can't want that if you can't vibrate at that frequency. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Okay, I'm not going to show you nothing and you think it's going to happen. And no, that ain't helping you. Okay. So again, she talks about the snake oil. She talks about these snake oil, they call it hoodoo practitioners. That's what she called them. The ones that, they just be faking and jiving. So you will see a lot of them too. You have other practitioners out here too. I don't even want to talk about just the pale face. We have some practitioners out here that don't know nothing and they are charging outrageous rates. Let there be a sign. If they're charging over $200 for any type of reading, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Okay. If you're only getting a short amount of uh time with them for a very high price, say if they're giving you a reading, but the reading is only 15 minutes for $100, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Just because it costs more doesn't mean that it has quality. Get that out of your head. How these people are coming to you, because spirit is not going to. If you are truly a practitioner and you're truly walking in your purpose, you don't operate like that. That's not how spirit's going to have you setting up things like that. I have seen that on a lot of and products extremely high, paid $300 here lately for. You can. That's how you tell. If their product this that they don't know what they're doing. They're not spirit led. Don't trust that. Because spirit is not going to have you doing things. You're in your purpose is to help people. You are alternative to other people who can't afford to go to a therapist. They can't afford to go to a doctor. They're not religious. So they don't belong to a church. Again, you are an alternative and being able to offer them the same services at an affordable rate. You want them to have access to you as well, to the things that they need. You're not going to make it impossible for them. You're going to make it doable. There's no way you're going to do that to them, because again, you're putting more oppression on them. you know these are the people, they really don't have no connection. They don't understand. The spirits don't have you to get rich. You're here for a purpose. They're not going to even let you do that. If you truly with the spirit, they're not going to let you set them prices like that. And most of them that set their prices like that, their life is a living hell. Them spirits is turn their asses up, but they come in here and they fronting and stuff with you. and they putting up this herbs like they this and that, and they're so powerful. No, they ain't, because most of the practitioners uh that do have power, they don't run their mouth a lot. They don't post up here. They're not no influencers. When they do got something to say, it's because spirit told them to say it. They are not interested in any of the, you know, real practitioners. Believe me, when I can't come here every day. I'm gonna tell you about me. I can't come here every day. The ancestors won't let me. I got too many rituals to do. I focus on too much self-care and keeping my mind and stuff right. I can't get caught up in this. That's not what they want from me. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to reach people who really uh want a good mentor that really can use my service. That's it. I don't care about getting everybody attention on her or trying to be number one or get viral. I don't care about that. I care about reaching the people that can benefit from the ancestors' help. Okay, they can benefit with the way I present, how the ancestors have used me to present hoodoo. That's getting to my community. That's all I care about. I don't care about, I don't care about that. Okay, I think when you redirect your energy like that, you let somebody steal it. I want to be. I'm TikTok. You ain't gonna steal my energy like that. I don't give a damn about these trends and stuff y'all got going on, dancing and stuff, and talking about celebrities and stuff. That's not why I'm here. Okay, I'm here because the people, if they they really want to know the truth. They really to have a great foundation. They want a mentor that's going to hold them accountable. That's going to support them and hold their hand along the way. That's why I'm here. That's it. Okay. So be wary. You seeing them come down your timeline a lot. They always got a lot. They always talking. It's like a car salesman. Question that. Question that, beloved. Look at the prices. Okay. Look at those prices. They gouging. Now you know they price gouging you, and you can't get 15 minutes in. They want to charge you hundreds of dollars for 15 minutes. They already got in your mind. They finna give you a vague reading and bamboozle you and run with the money. You get in the community, you don't understand nothing about hoodoo, but they're showing you a whole bunch of spells. You don't know anything about the elements. You don't know anything about how our ancestors use it. They're not talking about uh, the resources or giving you resources to help you understand what you're doing. You can't learn from no videos. You're going to have to get somewhere and be quiet. Sit down, be quiet. I got it, and open up your mind and start reading things. Look, learning for yourself. Are you going to learn something? Yeah, that's why I said Garcia's right. It helps to study first. You're gonna have to study, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They want you to sit there. I had people. I'm gonna move on with this book discussion. I've had people to come in my shop, and they think, they'll ask me all these questions because it's almost like they're trying to download everything I have in me, and they're gonna use that, and they're gonna know everything. And I have to tell them, you're gonna have to sit down and read. There's no way that I'm telling you everything. You can't know. And some of you don't know this is vampiric. You're trying to steal people energy that way. You're gonna have to sit down and learn. That's why I say when you start doing the shadow work, you're gonna find out, do you generate your own energy? Or you have to have other people's energy to get your energy going. Oh baby, you're gonna learn what frequency what you're vibrating on when you sit down and do that shadow work because you're faced with yourself. Yeah, Garcia, I agree. They don't want to do the work. You think you're gonna suck it out of other people, and you ain't. And even if I was sit down here and have a thorough conversation with you, I'm surprised about how much I know until people bring up the subject, and then it just come out my mouth. I'm like, ooh, I knew that. How did I know that? You know. So you still ain't gonna get everything out no one person because we know a lot of us have been practiced so much. Many of us are walking libraries. We've read so many books, occult books. We have done the shadow work. We're still doing the shadow work. We have convictions. We have passions. We are always inspired and motivated. You're not us. We put in the work. And if you want the alchemy to happen to you, you have to put in the work. That's true alchemy. Alchemy changes comes within the inside. And when that alchemy, you can change you to self-mastery through the self-care and taking care of you, then you tap into magic. But if you ain't gonna do that, you're gonna keep running in circles, looking for somebody to give you something that only you can get yourself. You're looking for it for yourself, so how you think you're gonna get it from somebody else? I gotta talk to you like that because I think, I know our mind's sick. A lot of us are sick. I got to get y'all slowing down because you don't realize how sick your mind is until I start slowing you down. When I start slowing you down, and showing you things, you go, oh, especially if you're in our shadow work program over in that membership, you'll start seeing how foggy your mind was, all this stuff you have to tear down. It'll make you cry sometime because you didn't know your mind was that sick like that. You don't know your mind's sick like that, baby. You don't know. This is one reason why you don't want to slow down. Because if I slow you down, you're going to see all these misconceptions and stuff you got in your mind. And some people, they love their sickness. They love, being caught up in there. But I have to slow you down. You don't know your mind's sick. I blame you. You just don't know. Crazy people don't think they crazy. Do you know that? I didn't think I was crazy, but I was crazy as hell. Not till I started healing. I said, oh my God, I was crazy. You ain't gonna see it. But they have normalized insanity. Okay? Same thing with this colorism. You got going, they have normalized this type of insanity. So you think it's okay, and it's not. You're not at your true authentic state. Somebody have been playing with your mind and your spirit. So you're gonna have to take a lot of this stuff out. A lot of this, especially a lot of this superficial stuff, the way hoodoo is being presented this way. It's just too big. They just say anything. Honey, I said, why did you say some of the stuff I said, why did you say that? Because you know that's not true. You just wanted to come here and say something, and now you're mess somebody up because you said something that wasn't true. And you don't care. Because you just want likes and followers and views. That's all you care about. You want to say something provocative so you can get like you there's no reason to put fluff and none. You don't have to do all that. But y'all messing it up because you want to say something provocative for views and all this type of stuff. You want to change something up because of views and all this type. I can see why ancestors kept stuff from us because they right. I was telling somebody at the meeting. I thought my grandmother was gone because she had pew pews all over her house, and I came in her house for something, and I thought she was gonna pull it on me. I said, "Oh my God, you gonna? Oh my God, you shoot me?" She said, "I'm just telling you. I don't know what's wrong with y'all young folks. I think some of y'all crazy." They thought we was crazy, and that the older I get, the more I look at young people. I'm trying to think like my grandmother. Some of y'all make me scared of y'all. Some of y'all make me scared of y'all. Now I see how old people, they look at some young people that's why they didn't teach us nothing because they knew that we was gonna go out and do some crazy stuff. They knew it. That's why they don't share nothing with you. Because if you get up there doing that right there, showing your altar, showing your magic, doing all that right there, you actually think they're gonna show you something? And you up here showing them all this other stuff, your altar, the exact way you do a spell. You ain't got no discretion whatsoever. Did you ever see your ancestors do that? In fact, you didn't even know they were doing it until you walked in on them doing it. And even then, they not gonna tell you what they was doing. You're gonna just be guessing while they looking upside your head crazy. Or maybe hit you in your mouth because you walked in on them. That's why they think that I don't blame them. I don't blame the elders. Not showing you nothing. Not showing you nothing. Yeah, it was private, Garcia. Okay, I don't show y'all nothing. No, I want you to look in that book and go talk to your ancestors. And if your ancestors show you, it's gonna work. You need to learn directly from ancestors in your own intuition. Start putting things together. It's gonna work. Go to your ancestors. Let them show you. I know if they show you, they ready for you to know. If you come to me and you say, Miss Penny, I'm gonna do this, you be doing it right too. I've had it to many of you come to me and say, Miss Penny, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it on this day, and all that. This how I know when you start telling me you're gonna do it, and it be right. I'm gonna say, okay. That's when I know the ancestors is working for you because you're telling me what you're gonna do. I know you're reading material because once you start reading, your ancestors gonna open you up and start telling you how to put things together. And once you get to me and you start telling me what you're gonna do, because you're gonna tell me. And I know it's because it comes from spirit, because you're gonna be in my inbox telling me what you're doing. And I'm gonna say, oh, okay, yeah. If I think it need to be tweaked or something, I might say, well, have you thought about doing it like this? Go look at this book and kind of see. Look, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'll probably, give you a hint where you want to look at it a little bit more. I'm not gonna stop you because I know your ancestors. I know you putting it together. If you need a little assistance on that, then I'll give you a little insight on that. But I'm not gonna step. This is how I know you're doing the work. I know you're not doing the work if you come here and you start asking me stuff or what to do in your practice. That's how I know you're not doing divination. You're not talking to your ancestors. You're not practicing self care. Okay. This how I know you're not using the information and the resources there because you'll be asking me too many questions. And all the answers are in the resources. Most of the things that you're asking me are in the resources that you're not looking at. Again, you're looking at people again. And I got to get you out of that. I'm gonna stick you right back on them ancestors again and stick you to going back uh to phase one. Go talk to your ancestors and doing divination. You're not gonna get me caught up in your stuff. Thank you, divine God. Got it. Okay. You don't get me caught up in your whirlwind. I'm gonna get your mind right back right, because you done forgot who you is. Okay. I greet my spirit guides, ancestors, and my spiritual gangsters every morning. I know that's right, Garcia. I don't start the morning off without them. I don't start a morning off without putting some on that altar. Some coffee, some juice, a cigarette, some incense out in the morning. I'm reaching for the ancestor altar. I'm going straight there. I'm putting coffee on there. That's a morning ritual. I know nothing on shaking, moving. If I want everything to go smooth, I gotta address that first. Okay, it's a way of life, you guys. I tell you, this ain't no fly by thing like what you see up here, a trend, an aesthetic. No, this is a way of life. Okay. Another part I liked about this book, Mojo Working, and this is a lot of what I do when I start doing it. And readers, if you've been reading a long time, you're gonna heal somebody with them cards. It's just gonna happen. You either gonna heal yourself or heal somebody. And when I went into reading, because I was like, what is happening? I got another person like that over there. Somebody got in my comments or my DM. I found myself turning into a therapist, a counselor. I said, what is happening here? The people start healing sessions start happening during the session. I was like, what's happening? I was tripping out. My readings had leveled up from not just reading the person, but now a healing session has happened. And now the ancestors are telling me to tell them to take this bath and that bath and this bath to clear this out, to help clear that out. Okay? It'll start changing. So you'll find yourself again, hoodoo it has a lot of psychological components to it as well. We're getting ready to go into shamanism because I had another person. Is she in here? I think the baby was on TikTok. But she got in my thing and she was like, you know what, Miss Penny? I'm doing shamanism and all of that. And that, is that hoodoo? I said it's definitely hoodoo. They keep a lot of people don't talk about this, but hoodoo will start looking like shamanism. Most of the ATRs gonna look like shamanism when the ancestors start speaking to you and you start going again astrally traveling to these other places talking to ancestors. It would and I knew that was a smoking gun with her, and I felt the same way she felt because I was like, what's happening here? And we're going to be going into path working a little bit more because that's when we really start again strengthening your mind and helping you understand how easy it is for you to uh, communicate with the spiritual realm. Okay. So these are the psychological components to hoodoo as well. Like it'll heal your mind, your body, and your spirit. It will heal you if you let it. But if you think this is about ego, about cursing somebody, putting people in pot, uh, you know, being coming in here with that energy, that same funk energy like that, then you're not going to get very far. I'm enjoying the path working book. It's animism as animism is hoodoo. We go over that in our community too. It's part of hoodoo. Our ancestor knew that everything was alive, and who knew everything was alive? That's what animism means. We think everything that's around us is alive. The trees are alive. The grass is alive. Everything is alive. That is understood among our spiritual practices, no matter if it's voodoo, if it's Orisha, if it's Ifa. We understood that. That is the foundation. That is why we got water spirits in our spiritual practices. That's why we got fire spirits in our spirit. Quite naturally, we got High John the Conqueror. That's a plant. That's a now an ancestor. Yeah, animism is in there. I break it down to you like that because I understand. I understand the science of it. So I'm going to break down animism. I'm going to break down shamanism because these are the components in hoodoo. These are the components in all our ATRs. There is some shamanism in there. There's animism in there. There's water magic in there. There's fire magic in there. It's earth magic in there. There's air magic in there. You got all these elements that's in there. So yeah, we cover all of it. Like I tell you, I'm gonna break it down and put it back together to you. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this too long. I've been studying it too long. I didn't wake up during COVID and do this. I've been doing this since let's see, since 2000. Yeah, since year 2000. Yeah, I've been doing this long. I've been reading and doing and studying this for 2000, since year 2000. I know what I'm talking about. This was my hobby. This is my hobby. This is my pastime. This is my passion. Okay? I can break this down for you. I don't just talk about hoodoo in generality with the little spells. Nah, I break it down to a full science and break it down, put it together for you again, break it down again. I can do it. Okay, because I know what I'm talking about. I don't sit here and tell you no lies. I didn't sit here and just read one book and then come here and tell you what I know. Nah, 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 nah. I don't come here with no superficial stories. And whatever I say, I'm gonna take you to the resources, factual resources where you see it for yourself. So you know I ain't making it up. Now you ask some other practitioners that while you listen to them, ask them to quote the resources and break down what they're talking about. Some of y'all don't do that because you like fantasy Santa Claus stuff. California 444 said, you're a Sagittarius. We know you know. Okay? I ain't gonna lie to you. Ain't gonna do me no good. Okay? So again, you get in it. It's psychological too. It'll heal your mind. Our ancestors were quiet, and I love when she talked about that. She said our ancestors knew that they had to practice self care because they were working and working all the time. So hoodoo is very self care centered. The better you can take care of yourself, the better results you're gonna have with communicating with your ancestors and with your work. So when Miss Penny telling you to love on yourself, and I think we're gonna do a special thing. Um, I think I'm do a special little exercise in our workshop with self love. I think that's gonna help some of our practitioners because you know we need to see each other in through the loving eyes of our Creator. And so I want to really promote self love and love in that healing group because we're not exposed to enough of that. Okay, we're not exposed to enough of that. So I'm really thinking about a special exercise in our Know Thyself memberships that really can promote a deeper healing experience. So I've really been going back and forth with that, but I'm really going to be on you about getting somewhere, sitting down, loving on yourself. And most of the people that I've helped, most of the time, that I have to get them to sit down. It's the problem is you're not sitting down loving on yourself. You're looking at other people, chasing other people when you really need to sit down and love you. That's the problem. They're the missing component. They too busy trying to love on somebody else and all that stuff and forgetting that they need the love they're trying to give somebody else. You know, I have to slow them down and slow you down and get you to looking at that like that. Okay. A lot of you don't want that, but I do it anyway because that's what you need. You don't know you need it. Okay. So again, looking at Mojo working, looking at how she approached it, she was really looking at the what's her name, Katrina Hazard. She was looking at the preservation of hoodoo, and she also mentioned too she didn't she went to this what she say she went to this event, and in these events all these different ATRs were representing themselves, but she didn't see anyone that represented hoodoo. And I'm kind of torn with her that with Katrina because again, I think because the way we had to preserve hoodoo and we couldn't identify with it uh as our other African diaspora brothers and sisters, they were able to hide and preserve a lot of their knowledge under Catholicism versus in the South, had to do those same things, but we had to hide them under Christianity and under some of these biblical figures that hide again these deities or these ancestral deities sometimes hid up under some of these Bible characters. And so, you know, you can I hear her one hoodoo to be a ATR. I am really I disagree with that because we see how the ATRs are coming in now, and I think that ruins the practice when we make it a religion. I just disagree with that because the way that's happening now, and it has brought more division and disconnection than it has restoration. That's just my opinion. I don't think it should be an ATR, although she got someone to represent hoodoo in this event. I think she got a elder woman to come forward and she started talking about hoodoo and how it is preserved and that we're still here practicing it and we still got elders in it. So it was important for her to have hoodoo represented in that event. I forgot the name of this convention or convent she was taught. It seemed like she said it was in Philadelphia or was it in Florida? It was some type of ATR event. And so she was talking to how all of them were listed except the hoodoo, and she wanted hoodoo let people know that hoodoo is alive, and it's thriving, and we still have people here that are dedicated and that are still practicing it. Okay. And that she doesn't want it to die, and she just feel like too that it should be addressed like any other ATR. But I don't think, that's just my opinion, we should not, again, I think it's a way of resistance too, that it hid up under religion and did not come a religion. That's why you can practice hoodoo with any religion. You can be Orisha, and hoodoo will start looking like Obeah. Hoodoo will start looking like Obeah. I'm sorry, but it does. Because Obeah is the same way. You can be any religion and practice Obeah. So when you practice hoodoo, you can again, you can be in Lukumi, you can be in Ifa, you can be in voodoo and still practice hoodoo. And if you run into hoodoo long enough, if you stay in hoodoo long enough, you're going to run into voodoo. It's nowhere around it. Because you see that cross happens in Louisiana. We talk about Louisiana hoodoo, you'll see that it'll cross each other. And then I get people say, what's the difference in voodoo and hoodoo? It's very little difference when you start looking at it. Okay. I know what they're telling you, the religion is telling you, but again, we're looking at it from our perspective in the diaspora in Louisiana, and how uh, voodoo and hoodoo practitioners work together. And sometimes voodoo and hoodoo was used interchangeably. I'm not lying and ain't making this up. You'll see it for your own self. Not what people are telling you, but through your own study for yourself, you'll see it. You'll see these, they'll cross over. You'll be like, damn, what is the difference in them? Not very much. Because in order to understand hoodoo, you got to talk about voodoo. Okay. I hope that made sense to you. I like to. Now, I love this about this book. You want to get in here for this. Now, when she was talking about High John the Conqueror, and you guys know we looked at Mexican folk magic. We have to look at that because this happened to all of us in diaspora. We're the same people. So when you start looking at Mexican magic, because it's still in North America, and again, they come from the indigenous ancestors there. They were colonized by the Spaniards with the new name Mexican. Okay, understand? That happened to them too. That this happened to us. So when she started looking at that, and she was looking at where High John the root come from, it comes from Mexico. It comes from Mexico. And she was wondering to herself, how did it get all the way here? You know, it's so many theories. Now I'm seeing with the Mexicans too. Again, because we go in this, we have to visit history when we start looking at High John the Conqueror. That's why I got to say, was our ancestors already here? Were they already in the Americas? Now I know they telling you that a whole bunch of Africans came into Mexico. I don't believe that, because we know, can't that many people cross that ocean like that stacked up on those ships. That doesn't make sense now. These people had to be already here. Was it Africans coming over? I'm sure it was Africans that came over. I don't doubt that, but I don't believe it's no millions like they saying. When it was already millions of black people here, y'all renamed Negroes and Africans. You did that. You brought the little Africans in here, the small, trying to mix in our DNA. But what you did when you do that, because where you get voodoo from in the 21 divisions, you did number create a stronger nation when you mixed us together. You didn't erase nothing. Same damn people on the same land. That's why you got the 21 divisions. You got all these nations running through. Bobby Hemmett talked about this. He talked about how all these nations came together. Okay. Now, did they bring a small amount after? Yes, because you thought it was going to change the DNA, but we didn't do it. Didn't change the DNA. We became a bigger nation. We're still the same indigenous people. And if you look over there in Africa, that's why you got one pyramid over there. You got more pyramids in America. We were getting ready. You ask me, I think we start migrating over there. We were getting ready to again open up colonies over there. We had already did it all over in America. Then we have the people, because they have that in their books. They have that the Olmecs were constantly going back and forth to Africa. They were constantly trading. You even got some of in African, some of their books in historical records, some of them say they came from America and migrated over there to Africa. Africa is not the first continent, and I think that's being promoted like that. America is the old ancient land, it's not Africa. Look at the pyramids. Stop listening to people and look at the land. The land telling you the story. You don't need to stop listening to people, because people lie. The conqueror lie. They lie all the time. What is that land telling you? How many pyramids do you see over there? Hey, Melon in 67. Look at the pyramids. Stop listening to what people are saying, because the land ain't gonna lie. You see in pyramids, you see the Grand Canyon, you see Arizona, a lot the mounds, they are older than the pyramids over there in Africa. So who are the oldest people? See, they got you looking over there in Egypt at that old, got you thinking that that's old, that's real old. No, that's very new. That was our that stopped the progress. We was getting ready to again uh migrate over there and put government officials over there in Egypt. Ancient America is the headquarter. It is the beloved land. It is the oldest land. It's older than Africa. I know you don't want to hear that. Okay, looks. Yeah, I ain't got a lot to you. Look at the land. Start comparing how old stuff is in ancient America compared to Africa. And then you have some of the Africans that say in their historical books that their ancestors recorded them coming from America, migrating to Africa. Africa is not older than America. It's just not. Look at America. It's got 4 seasons. It's got a whole bunch of islands. Look at the richness of America. Are you looking at that beautiful land over there? The 4 seasons? Are you looking at that? You ain't looking at that land. You looking at these lies and what people is telling you. Listen to the land. That's why you need to stop listening to people and go to the land, be going out there doing ceremonies and rituals and talking to that land. Not talking to people, because people lie. They flawed. They got ulterior motives. The more spiritual you get, the less you gonna like people. I'm telling you that right now. The less you gonna like people, you ain't gonna even you're not gonna even resonate with them no more. You're gonna feel alien. Okay, America had a lot more natural water sources too. Sure did. People sit up and lie. Got a girl up there now talking about Mexicans, you are African. African. Girl, stop lying on people. Y'all got people right there in Mexico right now. Ain't none of them African. Y'all claiming they from Africa, but they come from right there from Mexico. They been there all their life. And y'all telling these people Afro Mexican when they didn't come from Africa. They been there. They been to Mexico all their life. They have no descendants. They do not come from Africa. So stop that. What are you getting out of doing this? Now, it ain't no millions of Africans came over there in Mexico. You mean you have millions of Spaniards coming over there messing y'all up, making y'all Mexicans? That's why a lot of y'all dark like that. They couldn't lighten up all y'all. And then you got some Mexicans, y'all in colorism too. Y'all think y'all assimilated to being white. You got that colorism over there. Okay? So stop telling the lie. Did some Africans come over here? Absolutely. Not saying that they didn't, but not in the numbers that they're saying. They breeded more of them there because they were trying to change the bloodline. But what they did is you made nations, more nations run through our bloodline. Because all of us, all indigenous practices have some sort of voodoo. What is voodoo? It is an ancestral magic, bloodline magic. You see that go on with the Creoles down there in Louisiana. When you did that with the French and the Spaniards and all that stuff, what you do, you made a stronger nation. So you didn't ruin nothing. And because they were on this land, they are still indigenous Americans. You didn't change nothing, you made it stronger. That's what you don't get. You can't ruin our bloodline. We don't work like that. Once we start mating, we get a stronger bloodline. Now we got more nations running through our blood. So you didn't ruin nothing. You made a stronger nation. That's why you got 21 divisions. You start looking at voodoo, you will start seeing all them nations. Go look at Haitian voodoo. Look at that. You're talking about different tribes, different nations coming together, making a whole stronger voodoo system, bringing in their ancestors and choosing which ones they're going to deify. That's what you got. You didn't mess nothing up. You made something stronger, but you think you was doing something because you don't know what you're doing, trying to ruin somebody's bloodline. But again, we come from the same great mother. And you can't take that magic out of us because it came from the same great mother. You can't ruin that bloodline. You're only gonna make it stronger by when you mix us, like, because we're all indigenous and we all honor our ancestors. You're gonna see that popular among any dark skinned culture. So stop trying to split us up like that and play these mind games, because that's what you're doing. It's not working over here. Okay? And you get to see that I take you so you can see it for yourself. Stop calling us that. Okay? Thank you. And when they came in here, again, we made a stronger nation. And there you can see that with voodoo. Nothing changed. You didn't come, you can't, how you gonna stay somewhere? They still gonna, you're gonna take on the culture of the people where the land is. So the people don't change. They assimilated and got absorbed into us. So now they're on that land, whether they came over here African or not. Now they're Americans. Now they're Indians. Hell, don't change. So stop. And you changed our name so many times. Negro, mulatto. You thought about mixing us, you can call us mulatto. What was Octoroon and all these other just crazy made up names. Thank you, Sabone. It's crazy stuff. See, you start listening to the colonizer, you start, and a lot of us, you know, they done programmed us with their education. I hate we went to their school because they ain't do nothing but brainwash us. We thought we was learning something, and they was brainwashing us to repeat lies. It makes you mad when you think about it. You gotta get that out your head and go back to the land and start looking at the land and peel back these lies. Because the land ain't gonna match up with some of these lies they telling us. We have been reclassified over 3 times. We know nothing. Show down. Okay. Now you go look at the look at voodoo. We went through voodoo over there. We're gonna get ready to go through that again because we're going back into shamanism. We're getting ready to go into shamanism real deep because I want you to understand this. Uh, and I have a desire for you to know how to communicate with your ancestors to have your own spiritual connection. Stop. Want you to. I want you to have some security up under you, some confidence that you can do what you're doing, and stop running after other people, thinking they're gonna give you something that's already on the inside of you. So we're gonna go through shamanism again. I'll be coming here shortly. We'll be breaking that down to show you how that's up in there and how the voodoo. I mean hoodoo. Me, all of our spiritual practices have shamanic elements in them. Okay, brainwash, right? Our land, spiritually, royalty, birthright. Yeah, just brainwash the crap out of it and keep doing it. And you got people up here, repeating it. And then what's tripping me out too, what's going on lately with some of these, Africans, well, let me say Somalias, and some of these other people that's in America that's identifying as African American. See how you got that twisted? I think that was the plot all the way from the beginning. But see how you got that twisted? Y'all need to get somewhere and sit down. And you think they know more than us. Let me bring this up too. And I was talking to Efi, and I talked to somebody else, and he was saying the same thing. You think that they know more about the ATRs, and they more spiritually inclined because Yoruba or some of those other ATRs are over there. They do not. I'm gonna tell you that they don't they know that's only a small percentage of the people over there in that area in Africa that practice the ATRs. Those people have been heavily colonized and brainwashed. They love pale faced people. They worship pale faced people. They are not smarter than you or superior to you in any way. They are not better than you. You're running over there trying to get something from them, and they running over here trying to steal your whole identity. Some of them are quite naturally brainwashed. They look you. This let you know because they a lot of them freely. We know better than that. We know better than just open our practice and let pale face people in there. Not them. They'll let them come in. They almost like worship them. I've seen them here in Thailand, and we don't speak to each other. They don't like us like that. But if I see an American, a black American, we speak to each other. I can tell if they're African. They're not going to speak to me. They are not going to say anything to me. They are not superior to you. Now, they made that up. These folks is making this up, uh, they are making this up. They're not superior. They don't know more than you. It's only a small percentage of them that practice a ATR. Not all of them. A lot of them has been colonized and they've been brainwashed, especially with their Christianity. They think pale people is the best thing that ever happened to them. They worship them. I'm telling you now. Now, if they were superior to us, I'm gonna put it like that. They were superior to us. Why would it take them so long to wake up? Why are they leaving their country and not rebuilding their country? If they're the first and the best of everything, why everybody keep leaving there? I've been here for about 8 or 9 months. They're not. Okay. They don't even have enough sense because you thought when you got over there to America that them people y'all think that we don't appreciate where we is and we sitting up here telling you that these people is raggedy. But in your mind, it's because we lazy. That's why we. Boy, we done came so much further than you. You the one run away from home coming over here. Hell, we done made it for the, what you talking about? We lazy. We don't do this. If we was so lazy and all that, how the hell you come over here? How, if we was lazy and we wasn't doing anything, how did you get the right to go to America? Make that make sense with your raggedy self. And you gonna try to down us? No, you need us. You need to stop because you'll never be at. You can have that word African American because we're not even that. We are Americans. We're the first and only Americans. Period. 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 You can have that African American. That's what you is. But we, at the bottom line, we're the only true Americans. You're not. So you probably that belongs to you. You steady trying to cosplay. Let's change our name again. Let's change it to just American, what it really is. American. That's who we are. We are the con people. Okay? We're Americans. Okay? You can have that African American if that's what you want. But don't change it again. Because you want to steal somebody. You want to be like us. You're nothing like us. I'm just ashamed that you're doing what you're doing. I'm ashamed of that. Here were our ancestors hanging from trees and all this stuff, civil civil rights and all this stuff. You get to enjoy all that, and then to come over here to flip the script on us. Now I think you should be deported. I think you should go back to where you come from. You're disrespect. But if we did it in y'all country, we go over there, y'all country, y'all try to take advantage of us, use us like an ATM machine, and then you to say you superior to us. You don't. We don't even have. We are not the same. We don't even have the same morale. We don't come over here and try to suck y'all for every dime y'all got and use y'all and put hexes on y'all and unalive people and stuff. We don't do that to you. And you think you're superior to us? You think you better than us? You just as ragged as the pale faced people. Yeah, you should be standing by them. It doesn't surprise me at all. You think that they will love you after they try to unalive all your ancestors. Something wrong with y'all. Something wrong with your mind. Now something wrong with y'all. And you talking about we lazy and all that stuff. If we choose not to work again for another 100 years, we didn't put in our work. We didn't work for free for over 400 years. So we want to sit on our ass and not do nothing. Now we ain't being lazy. It's called reparation and rest and restoration. We've had ancestors to actually work themselves to a grave. And you sitting up bumping your mouth like that. Talking about somebody lazy. You don't even know our story. You're a disgrace, a shame to your ancestors. None of y'all is woke or none of that. They are the most. So how can they be superior to us and they're so brainwashed? They're easy to be duped. How could you think they can know more than you? They don't know more than you. They're actually duping you, getting you over there in their religion and duping you. When all your power is right there on the land. Voodoo was already in the Americas. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe that. And that Omar Johnson don't make it any better with all his fake and phony. You're gonna get a whole bunch of Omar Johnsons. That's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna doc a lot of Dr. Umars. And I think that's enough. That's enough of me saying that. You're gonna get a lot of Dr. Umars. It's all of them like that. I don't think all of them like that, but the ones that's come over here as opportunists and the way that the stuff that come out their mouth, if we ain't that, we ain't all that. Why y'all try to copy us? Y'all do our hairstyles. Y'all try to sing like us. Y'all try to dance like us. I don't understand for people not to like us. Y'all sure try to do every damn thing we do. You sure keep your mouth on us. You sure keeps. I don't understand it. If I don't like nobody, I don't give a damn what they doing. I'm not going over there where they're at. I don't want to be around them people. I don't got nothing to say to them people. But y'all make us the topic, you know. You jealous. Just say that. Just say that. Just say you jealous. Just say all y'all jealous of her. Just say that. We can accept that better than you doing some crazy, some single white female stuff. You know, some stalking type of stuff. Some it's weird. If I don't like nobody, I don't like you. I don't care. I ain't gonna be around you. I don't got nothing to say about you. I don't want to act like you. I don't want to walk like you. I don't want to be you. It don't make sense, y'all. I hope y'all looking at that. You look crazy. And then y'all got these pale faced people thinking that we the enemy. These are the same answer. These are the same people that went over there and it's, did all this stuff to y'all ancestors. Still doing it right now today. It seems like the only person got some sense over there is Abraham Trore. The rest of y'all lost y'all mind. He's the only one trying to get it right. I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know what's why you be wary of them. They got to worry about, you know, it kind of makes sense how all these nations came against us and how we stayed where we was, you know, because these people they really show. It just trips me out. They really show they want to be us but don't like us. If that ain't the jealousy, I don't know what it is. Yeah, you say you're not that. Stop talking like us. Listen like us. Stop acting like us. Stop copying our music. Stop doing that. Cause I don't copy. I don't copy people I don't like. I don't go around and listen to your music. I don't play your music. I don't particularly like your music, so I don't play it. It's nothing there that I like. I think my ancestors made good soul music. I think that music good enough for me, and no reason for me to go listen to something else. None of us go out of our way to know anything about you or to criticize you or anything else. But y'all need to get y'all stuff together. You're jealous, and I think a lot of y'all jealous. The ones you try to steal the hoodoo, you try to walk like us, be like us. I mean, anytime black people get somewhere, y'all, I mean, it don't matter what race they is, they just try to come in there. I don't understand. I'm like, what the hell wrong? What's wrong with you? Have you do y'all never want did that ever cross your mind? Do you ever just like what is wrong with them? What is y'all fascination, obsession with us like that? You know, you say you don't like us, but damn, you can't wait to still our walk, our talk, our hair. I don't understand it. Make that make sense. That sound crazy. And this type of behavior is being normalized. It's been normalized. It's being normalized. I really question it. The longer you stay on your spiritual journey, I tell you, the less human you're gonna feel. You're gonna question people's behavior. I question humans' behavior a lot. They have normalized odd behavior, and I do a lot of observing people's behaviors. I do a lot of observing people's behavior because it tells me a lot about them and what spirit they're working with when I observe their behaviors. But that's something to think about. You need to stop it. Okay, Africans. I'm not saying all of you like that, but a lot of you like that, and you've been brainwashed, and you worship pale color people, and you ain't the only one. I see it right here in Thailand. I see it colorism everywhere I go. Do they know they doing it? Are you seeing it with the Asian community? Okay, they addressing that. So it's in there. It is sickness is in there. It's something how um that's what I tell you, pale face color people too. Your ancestors have this racism have impacted the whole world, and you want to jump in the hoodoo. Your ancestors created a systemic system that impacts everyone globally, and you want to jump over here and practice hoodoo, something that our ancestors fought into the day, they transition. I'm sorry, Starbuzz burst. Don't make no sense to me. I see it globally. It's not. It's I don't have to worry about you know the color of my skin walking down the street or nothing like that here in Thailand. But I definitely, because I'm an observer. Okay, as Sagittarius, we observe, we see things other people don't see. But I definitely watch their interaction. And then you have the older pale faced men marrying these young Thai women. It's so disgusting because that woman don't want you. You know that woman don't want your raisin dried up body like that. You know that woman don't want you. She like what's in your wallet. She don't like you. You see these old pale faced men come here and marry these young Thai women. Okay? And these women don't want you a dried up raisin. You know that woman don't want you. Nothing appealing about you. You know that woman don't want you. They come here and they do that. I mean, it's the same uh type of PDF behavior, the same type of deviant behavior mindset they have. You just come here with your sickness. Now, it's been other creators has talked about this, but it's the same deviant behavior. That's just like my daughter. She went down there. Now these men, they never speak to me when I go over there. My daughter is younger, and she's oblivious to how beautiful she is. So she goes over there to the store, and all of a sudden, she said, all the men that was sitting out there, because they sit out there like YNs, but except they pale face. Like YNs sit around a liquor store and all that stuff and shuck and jive. Well, they do that here. You have the pale faces men to join together and sit in front of the store and do that. So she went over there, and all those men, they was like, "Hey, how you doing? Can I take you out?" And all this kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff. I said, "Oh, really?" All these are old enough to be her grandfathers. She hasn't went back over there by herself again because I want you to open your mouth while I'm standing there with her because I'm gonna put you in your place. You know nobody don't want you with your raised and dried up body like that. You know this girl, my daughter don't want you. With your dried up self. You're not finna suck her energy out of her like that, like you're doing these other Thai women around here. And I don't think you would be doing that. Then they need you for something. They don't even want you like that. You know. But you see them, they it's so vampiric. But you definitely see it, um, the interaction between them and Thai people. For instance, I don't know if this lady is Russian or if she's German, but she's always in the Thai in our office, and she's so aggressive with these Thai people and trying to boss them around. And I saw her doing, and I was like, y'all, you coming with the same stuff. And I'm looking at the Thai manager, apartment manager, and I'm like, is she gonna check her? Because you need to check her and tell her to get out your face. She playing in your face. She's seeing how much she can push your buttons before you put her in a place. You know, I said, ain't my business. Let me walk out of here. But I don't want her ever, because I done seen her roll up on people. Uh, she has like this overbearing, I can tell you what to do attitude. I said, I hope I'll never cross that lady because it's not gonna be good for me and her. Because I'm gonna shut her right on down with it. You're gonna move around with that. You can do that with them, but don't do it. But me and her ain't never had no words. I see her watching me sometimes, but I don't conversate with them. When I see her doing that in that woman's face, you bullying these people. They don't got to do it. They got their own way they do stuff. You can't bring wherever you come from. You can't bring that here with these people. They didn't check her, but I was like, this is not gonna turn out good because y'all letting her go too far. You need to check her right then and there because she's pushing buttons. But I've seen her do it, and I've seen them tolerate some things. So I see it here though. The whole has a sick men and women preying on young innocent. Yeah. Okay. So I've seen it here, but I feel more safer here. I'm not. What do you call that? I'm not singled out or anything like that. The police is not like that here. I don't, I'm not feeling anything like that, but I definitely see the colorism here. You can see it in their marketing. Like they have dark skin, very dark skin type people here. Some as dark as me, but you're not going to see them being advertised. You're not going to see a lot of them being put on TV the same way they did in America now. You're not going to see a lot of them being put on TV. You're not going to see them in big ads. When they're marketing, they're going to be marketing people that look almost pale face, almost light skinned type people. Okay, they got skin whitener and brightener all around Thailand. I had to tell that lady at the beauty shop. She said, "You want skin bleach?" I said, "No, I don't. I don't bleach my skin. I love my brown, beautiful skin." And they started laughing. I said, "I'm for real. I don't put that on my skin. I don't want that. That's never been a thing. I don't want that." you know, they have it everywhere. The colorism is in their products too. They sell a lot of skin whitening cream. They sure do. And it's a shame because, and again, you can see it in their marketing. You can see it on TV because most time they're not going to show dark skinned Thai people, but I've seen Thai people as dark as me. But when they're advertising and marketing, they're going to be using a pale face. So the colorism is everywhere. Now, do they treat? Now, I haven't really talked to any dark skinned Thai people. You really talk about their experience because it's a different thing when we start talking about their experience. They probably can tell me something different. But you know, I don't think they're like racially profiled like we are in America. There could be some discretion going on with their family, the way colonialism touched their family. Just like you see, where else you see that? I think that the Samoan, I had a Samoan client, and she told me when they first got into Hawaii and invaded Hawaii, they were dark skinned like me. This is a Samoan girl telling me this. And she said they were dark skinned just like me, Miss Penny. She said, but the longer they stayed, we had people wanting to be pale face. She said, I even want to be pale face. And we're ashamed about our dark color. Okay, so you're talking about, and again, if you know anything about, hey cousin, glad I caught the live. Hey Kashia, um, if you know anything about the Samoans, especially Hawaii, those people look just like me and you. Same damn people. Polynesian people, just like me and you. People from Fuji look like me and you. They went in and started lighting. When colonizer come in to play, believe me, there is gonna be a lot of that's the first thing they do. Why do you think that when the soldiers come in, they start pushing themselves out on the women? What do you think happens? Do you think a lot of that, sometimes it happens because of economic reasons. So the colonizer has all the money, and the woman is going to go with the resources. But you also had colonizers forcing themselves upon the population, changing the identity and race of the culture. You got that with the Mexicans, with the Spaniards, and now these Mexicans, they think that you got some Mexicans think they white. Same thing they did in our culture with colorism. You got these light skinned people, uh, fraternities. If you wasn't a certain complexion, you couldn't be in that fraternity. What they was called the blue vein fraternity, or something like that. Okay, you got some of our ancestors that did pass. Um, They passed. Clark Gable, he was passing. Got a lot of them that were passing. Okay, so but I definitely see some colorism here. I don't know if they're, sometimes it's stuck in the culture where, their family member tell them they're too dark or something like that. I don't know if they ever dealt with that. I definitely heard of Mexicans or Hispanics talk about that in their culture, how they were made to feel, less than because they were darker. I don't know if the Thai people deal with that in their family, but they're definitely been talking about that in the Asian community. So it's in there somewhere. You can definitely see it in the way they advertise and market. They do not ever use dark skinned people in marketing. I've never seen them on TV. I've never seen them in the marketing. No, matter of fact, most of the marketing is going to be geared towards pale faced people. You're not gonna see too many dark skinned people uh in any advertising. Gonna be pale faced people. It's astonishing to me. I'm like, what the hell? It looks, I don't know what to make of it. I feel I have complex feelings about it. Okay. The last book that we read is called Root Work. And that book, and you should have gotten the audio book with that too, because I think that was a secret. No, he was like, there's so much stuff, Miss Penny. I think I was able to throw in an audio book with root work. That book goes right into uh doing more of the spell rituals of that sort. It goes right into the magic. So it wasn't really too much to say about that because we've covered so many books like that in our community. You got so many books like that. But the main books I really wanted you to take away and get some out of and really go over and look at. I hope you guys are reading these stuff and that the resources and the lectures here are helping you. I hope they're helping you. Okay. So but with Mojo working and working the roots. Really look at that because I was very shocked about High John it was putting some things together when she said High John the Conqueror originated in Mexico. So let me know that it was already here. It didn't come from Africa. Uh, how did we know that? Another indication that we was already here. There is no way you can take somebody from somewhere else to work a land that they didn't come from. Because the soil is going to be different. So you had to have people already here that knew the land, that knew how to work the land, and to show other people, probably show the Africans when they came over here, the small amount that came over there, how to work the land. But that land, again, we were already there. It doesn't make sense to steal somebody that don't come from the land to work a land they don't know nothing about. That don't make sense. Somebody got to teach them about the land. There had to be quite a amount of people there already from the land that knew the land and working. So it doesn't make sense to go steal a whole bunch of people that ain't from there to work a land they don't even know nothing about. The soil is totally different. It's different soil. Each land got its own kind of soil, and particular things grow in certain areas. Okay. So again, so when we're looking at High John and looking at, because she's saying that it comes from Mexico, Zapla, Mexico. And again, by looking at that, we can already see that there apparently were ancestors already there. Okay. It confirms what many oral traditions and archaeological records indicate that the ancestors or African Americans were not isolated to Africa. There were trade routes, migrations, spiritual exchanges, and cultural collaborations between American, African, and even Asian indigenous populations long before colonization. We were already traveling, we were already going back and forth. Another indication you can look at this because you're going to find corn. Corn is indigenous to Americas, but yet you're going to find corn in Asia. They got this in their architecture now. You're going to find corn over there in Africa, but corn is indigenous to the Americas. Somebody said, well, we know that rice originated from Africa. I'm back and forth with that because the Gullah Geechee is being, and I got to get some more research on Gullah Geechee because the more I look at Gullah Geechee, and guys saying Gullah Geechee, it has a lot of African elements. But when I sit down and tell the ancestors, they said they not really African. This is where the Africans came in there, and the nation got stronger, and the exchange happened. And so now people are saying that they're African, but these people are really indigenous to the land. This is when the cross culture happened with the Gullah Geechee community. That's when a lot of cross culture, spiritual cross culture, all of that happened within that and in Louisiana, especially, right there on the coastlines, okay, is where you said, but those people, even though they do have African elements in there, I don't know if Gullah Geechee even remembered that or if they have any records of that, but the foundation of them are indigenous people. And yeah, did some Africans come in there, and again, the culture grew in another way, and you have the Gullah Geechee, yeah. But then we can't forget about the Gullah Wars. Those were wars of the indigenous people. So was those Gullah Geechee people really identifying themselves as African? Because again, you got the Gullah, the wars. These are civil wars that these people was trying to maintain their land. They knew this land. And remember, we were already trading with we already knew the Africans. We already had trading routes. We was already trading salt, corn. We were already traveling those places. So y'all, these folks try to make it seem like we didn't know how to make no damn boat and go nowhere. They act like they're the only one with boats and was doing something. That's not true. They got you thinking that people were isolated and they weren't going nowhere. Well, you see that through, that's a lie. You can see that through that story Moana, them Polynesians, they supposed to be the best at selling the seeds. And these people, they not African either. These are black Polynesian people. Let's get that right. So they let you know when you see in that movie Moana, they let you know that these people, they were known for selling seed. They were selling the seeds because they lived on islands. So they had perfected of traveling the ocean and the sea. But they got you thinking that once these primitive people in their mind was stuck on this island, they couldn't go nowhere. They didn't know how to get on no boat or nothing. Y'all is not the only one with the boat. Matter of fact, you was the last one to start looking at stuff. We was already going to different places. You the one was losing yourself and didn't know where the hell you was at. We knew we was going. That's why we didn't get lost. We didn't get lost. We didn't make a mistake and discover something. It was already discovered because we knew where the hell we was going. Seeds and acorn. They were about to California. It was teaching people. Okay, you was lost. You was lost. We weren't lost. We was going all around the world. We knew we was going. And matter of fact, I don't think nobody ever wanted to tell you where we was because you weren't supposed to know that. You've been trying for a long time to find us because nobody would tell you where it was because it was the land of the beloved. It was the global hub uh, of the planet. And so didn't that many people know about that? I don't think you was ever supposed to find. I think you was looking at it for the longest. And you didn't know how to sell. You didn't know which way to go. So how you gonna tell us we was never going anywhere and you didn't even know which way to go? You had to have a black man to show you where to go. You had somebody black showing you where to go. So how the hell we ain't never sell no items or been nowhere, but yet you steady getting people that don't look like you to show you where you going? Yep, from Hawaii. I'm speaking about Polynesian. You're right. Okay. On Polynesian people that already knew how to sell the seeds. They already knew that, perfected that. Go look at that story, Moana. They're letting you know that they've always said. Go read about what's her name, Queen Califia. They said she had a ship. She had a crew of a lot of ships. She was like a general. She would go to these different islands like the Polynesian, all of them, deliver food. She did a lot of trading. She was over there. These are the ancient Indians in California. They even let you know. I like going down to the mounds and looking at those systems. They would let you know that our ancestors would cut down trees, dig out the center of them, and make canoes and go across the different islands. That's how they was making some of their boats. If they need a quick boat, they'll knock down a tree, dig it out, and make a canoe and go across the water. They were already doing this. You got They let you know they know what they doing because they said that man got lost. That man kept getting lost. The people didn't even want to give him no money to take him nowhere because he kept getting lost. And you know what these people let you know that they are inferior to you just by letting you know they didn't know where the hell they was. They let you know that they are they poor, they ain't got nothing, they ghetto because they got to take something from you. They got to steal land and manipulate and deceive and all that sort of stuff. So how can they be superior to you and they coming in taking stuff? How could you want to impress somebody who always stealing stuff? I don't seek to impress them. You gonna impress a criminal? You think a criminal's opinion matters of you? These are criminals. These people are not righteous. And they didn't convince some of these Africans. They got them mesmerized because they really agreeing with these people. These is the same people, Lord. And y'all believe this stuff. This is why I say they're not superior to us either. So stop looking at them like they're superior to us because they're so easily brainwashed. There's no thinking there. There is no thinking there. Y'all don't. You don't even. Y'all can't even get. Y'all got a whole country over there that belong to you, but y'all can't get them South Africans out of there. You got a whole country that belong to you, and you got a small amount of people trying to keep y'all out of that little small section, and the whole country belong to you. I don't think that could be Americans. If we just had that small amount of people in America, and it was more of us there, the way it is with y'all, how them people couldn't, they wouldn't last a day. We would have been kicked them people out and sent them back to where they was. We would have. Ain't no way. But y'all still got them there. It's shocking to me. And you let them rule you like that. And because we speak up, because our ancestors righteous, they had us opening our mouth. Y'all say we think we better. Nah, we ain't no wimps. Our ancestors didn't raise no wimps. They didn't raise no cowards. We open our mouth and we have to get in there and put in that work. We'll do that too. We are not the same. We do not conform. So yeah, you can be mad at us all we want to. We don't conform. And you can keep selling yourself to these people. They don't care nothing about you. They didn't prove that to you over and over again. You can try to be the house coon. You can be the house coon if you want to. That's all you're gonna be. I don't trust y'all either. Sure don't. Coming over here trying to take somebody identity. You can have that. We just need to start calling ourselves Americans because truly we are the only real Americans. Now that you will never be. You will never be an American. You will never be an American. You don't think like us. You don't talk like us. You're not revolutionary like us. You're conformist. So no, you will never be a true American because you're a conformist. So yeah, that title probably do belong to you, African want to be American. That probably do belong to you, but we are Americans. We do not compromise. We do not conform. We are not the same. Because every time y'all come to us with conforming. Y'all should conform. Y'all should be so further than this. But yet your country is a hot mess. But we should be further than this. The pot calling the kettle black. Ain't that something? But you won't go over there and fix your stuff where they done made everything regular for you, where you're sitting up there begging people for money everywhere. Or you gotta scam people and make a fool out of us and all that stuff to get us over there and scam us and all that stuff. You won't stay over there if it's so great and you think you're so much better. Why don't you go over there and fix that? Go fix that. Stop coming over here and telling us what we can and can't do. You ain't even fixed your own stuff yet. Y'all can't even stop being raggedy in your own country to each other. So why would you think that you can come over here and support us, even put your mouth on us? You need to be quiet. Or go if you gotta say something, go over there and fix that stuff over there first. Don't you say a word about African Americans. You better not say nothing about us if you ain't went over there and fixed your raggedy country. If you need us and you couldn't live without America, keep your mouth off African Americans. Because you is not better than us. You're not. Y'all are so behind. We are so much ahead of you guys. We are. Mentally, we are. Politically, we are. Musically, we are. I'm tired of y'all giving y'all these accolades and stuff like that. But if you were so smart, why are you still living in those same conditions? Your our ancestors, we got bit by dogs, water holes. Some of them got hung by trees. Oh, it was by any means necessary. We got the Black Panther. Oh, we was going down like that. We got some that had to flee the country because they weren't playing. They kids weren't gonna be brought up in that. It was ride or die. They didn't care. What did your ancestors do? We can stand on our ancestors. They made it to where we can relax. They did all the pulling themselves up by the bootstrap and all that stuff. What did your ancestors do? I wait. What are you are enjoying now over there in your country that your ancestors created for you? And if it was so good, how come you ain't over there? And y'all stop trying to, don't let them initiate you into their stuff. You got ancestors right there in the Americas. You got hoodoo. Hoodoo isn't up. You got voodoo. Voodoo isn't up. If you want to, again, work with their reaches, you have the ability to do that too. It's a way to do that too. Ah, they ain't gonna like me when I talk, because I didn't come here to compromise. I didn't come here to stroke no egos, and I damn sure didn't come here to conform. I'm not conforming to your religion. I'm not conforming to your politics. I'm not conforming. And this shouldn't surprise you, okay? That this coming out of my mouth. I'm a Sagittarius. I am the rebel, okay? I came here to burn this shit down, okay? It's ridiculous. Okay, we are not the same. Now that you do yourself a disservice when you go over there and you're being initiated to their ancestors on that land. It'd be different if you were on your own land, the American land, because those are the ancestors you need to be connected with. Those are the ancestors you're going to be using the roots, the soil, the water, everything from that land. So why go to another land where your ancestors never been to? They never been to that land. Why initiate yourself over there and align yourself with that when you don't know anything about the land, the herbs, or any of that? It makes more sense to go, to be on your own land and get in alignment with the ancestors on the land. That's important. Okay, you forget about all these other ancestors that gave so much on the American land to go somewhere in Africa and get initiated on there. You don't really know their ancestors. You don't know them. That makes a difference. It could that ancestral being in your bloodline, it definitely can. Is that gonna stop you from working with the Orishas? No. Is it gonna stop you from working with voodoo? No, because it's already in your blood. It doesn't matter. The initiation, they doing this for a religion. What I'm teaching you is initiation with spirit. It is self-initiation. That is more important than a religion. You can get you if you want a title. Is that what you want? A raggedy title? Because it don't gonna cross over. It's not gonna cross over to the spiritual realm. That priestess, that preacher, it don't they don't care about that. Don't matter. Don't matter. They don't care about that. They don't mean to a hill of beans over there. That only counts in this physical realm when you're trying to manipulate and deceive people into making them think that you got this sort of power that you probably don't have. Most of the people that have the most power uh in this practice, they don't have a title. And they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're talking about. Yes, thank you. Because they stay trying to act like you crazy and don't know anything when you push back asking questions. Yeah. And if they can't break it down, I challenge them to come down, break down their spiritual science, to come here explain it to you like that. Not all of you need to be initiated. A lot of you probably just need some prayer work, or maybe they can give you some ritual work to do. But no, everybody's not supposed to be initiated in that. Okay. And just because you get a title doesn't mean you're going to start working with these spirits. They're still going to give you books and a whole bunch of rituals and a whole bunch of stuff that you can just have to stay consistent in if you want to have a deeper relationship and experience with those spirits. They're going to be giving you the same thing I'm giving you, but through their religion. What I'm giving you is exactly what our ancestors did in Hoodoo. Okay. Nothing is different. Probably when you go through this and see what I'm doing and you get over in ATR, you probably gonna say, Miss Penny was doing the same thing. We did the same thing in Hoodoo. Miss Penny wasn't lying. Miss Penny had me doing the same thing they got me doing over here in the ATR. You're gonna see that. Because I'm gonna have you doing the same exact thing. Okay. So if you decided to get over there, whatever you decide to do and how you grow and evolve in your practice, again, you're gonna get results. Okay. Now, did anybody have any questions about the book? Because I covered a lot here and I've discussed a lot here. Yep, that's why I'm grateful for you because they want to push West Africa only. I just, it's miscommunication with that. And now they're starting to find out in their books. I can't wait till a lot of them start to find out. And I think it's more of them than we realize. A lot of them, because they have in we go look at a lot of, that's why I look at a lot of history and we go over a lot of different folk magic so you can see the ancestors in there. But if you go and look at the history, Mexican history, they have documentation of Olmecs going to Africa. They talked about how they went over there and they start opening up colonies in Africa and how Egypt was one of those colonies. If you look at those pyramids are a lot younger than the pyramids in America. But see, they got you looking at these African people. I don't know what I'm still, the jury's still out on that. I'm just like, what is y'all fascination with Africa putting everybody in Africa? I mean, y'all try to put everybody from Africa, and them Polynesian people let you know they're not from there. It's just black people all over the planet. Just say that. You are the very last people. So you're trying to, I think, to obscure, to stop us from thinking about where the hell you come from. You try to make it look like that all African people, all black people come from Africa. And I think you're trying to do that so we won't figure out, try to ask questions about where the hell you come from, because we know everybody on here, on this planet, supposed to be looking like me. So where the hell you come from? Because you ain't supposed to be looking like that for that long. And even if you're supposed to be looking like that, at some point you're supposed to be turning back looking like me. But you stay looking like that. That's why they got to bury y'all real fast, because if they don't bury y'all real fast, y'all start looking like us. You turn color, you get dark. Y'all got to be buried real fast. Y'all can't stay at the ground long at all, because you're going to look like a different person. I think that's why y'all doing, I try to figure that out, because you know damn well if you're smart, you claim you're smart, you got a degree, and you can sit with the ancestors, and know that, every place where it is going to be dark skinned people. And the further y'all go back and dig, the darker the people get. You try to find yourself, but you keep finding people that look just like me. And you astonished. And you again asking yourself where the hell you come from. I want to know the answer too. Where you come from. Because the more you dig, you don't find yourself. You find us. Find somebody look just like me. And I don't know where that out of Africa theory, it doesn't hold water. So they need to throw that away in the garbage. It doesn't hold water. It's garbage, it's garbage, it's garbage. Everybody don't come from Africa. They don't. That story don't even make sense. That's just like saying y'all we come from apes. But if we come from apes, it wouldn't be no thing, it wouldn't be no reason for reproduction. Shouldn't apes should humans should be still evolving from apes, right? We're not seeing that. See how you just make up stuff? If we evolve from apes, I want to see some more humans coming out the jungle and some apes and turn into human coming out the jungle. I want to see it right now. Now, could we have a genetic relationship? Probably so, but we are not the same. Now, you sit there and say we come from apes. Now, if that's the issue, I I got to see that with my own eyes. This process, evolution process, happened. I want to see them come out the jungle as humans. It should still be happening. Okay, so you have to ask the out of Africa theory. It just doesn't hold water, and they have found remains, human remains in America, that's older than some of the remains they found in Africa. They're gonna always talk about Africa, but ask yourself how come they never talk about ancient America? And when they do talk about ancient America, they're gonna talk about the Aztecs. They're gonna talk about the Incans. They don't really too much like to get into them old mix, because if you get into the old mix, they're gonna let you know that is a Negro civilization. It was matriarchal too. If they go into it's gonna be undeniable. When you get the Aztecs coming in here and the Incas coming in here, that's when you have some of the French and Spaniards coming in to the Americas and them being compromised. You look it up yourself. Okay. I've sat with this for a long, long time. So you do your research. I just share with you what I've learned and what the ancestors have shared with me. And if you start your research, you'll see what the ancestors start telling you stuff too. You'll start putting things together, and you'll be like, "Wait a minute, slow down." You'll start catching some discrepancies and putting things together. Okay, but I do recommend that you read the book, "Working the Roots," uh, Mojo Working. I'm glad you're speaking out since we're not crazy, and you're right. Thank you. You're welcome. Working the Roots, Mojo Working. Read those books, listen to those authors. Uh I found their presentations and their interview to be very, very helpful. It put some things together for me. So I hope you're slowing down, taking time to absorb the information in there. I was so happy to present these books to you, Mojo Working and Working the Roots. I was so happy because these are really, really good books that were written by people that look like us, and they took the time to do the leg work to put the things in the book. So there are great, great resources. Now, if any of you that's interested in hoodoo and you want to learn hoodoo the right way, really want a greater comprehension of that, get over there in our hoodoo community, Spiritual Roots. It's our hoodoo community on Patreon. The link is in my bio. We have a $5 membership where you just get all resources you read. We have a $10 membership, which is the ritual, which you'll learn about rituals. You'll get lectures, you'll get books and documents in that. You'll learn a whole bunch about rituals, perfecting your rituals, working with angels, really perfecting your craft. And then we have the conjure. These are the people that say, hey, I know everything about ritual. I'm good at ritual. I'm ready to work with these spirits now. I'm ready to bring these spirits down and work on my altar and work with these spirits. That is for the conjure, if you're ready for that. If you say, hey, Miss Penny, I don't know absolutely nothing. I don't know nothing. And I need shadow work. I know I need to heal. And I want to know everything. The Know Thyself membership is going to be excellent for you, where you get everything and plus um, the shadow work workshops that where we meet, our healing circle, we meet twice a month and you'll get your workbook where you can answer your shadow work questions. You can come in and talk about your feelings, what you're processing, any inner child work, shadow work that you're doing in our healing circle. Um, and throughout the course, the whole platform, I also, again, I provide you with shadow work journals and shadow work books to help you along your path. So even if you're not in the Know Thyself membership, usually I'm going to keep that shadow work in your face. I'm going to keep that ancestors work in your face. If you're interested again in perfecting your work with your ancestors, we have a lot of resources over there that's really going to help your ancestors, okay? Because hoodoo is ancestral. So understanding how to work with ancestors, how spirits communicate with you, how your ancestors communicate with you. We covered that all over there. I really want you to know that first before you start grabbing stuff and picking up stuff and doing magic. It ain't gonna do you no good if you don't know if it's gonna turn out right. Does your ancestors want you to do this? Should you be doing some healing work instead? Because sometimes you can do some healing work and you can get some stuff done. You may not need to do no spell. Your energy might be affected right there. You might have a block. You might need to do some healing work, and once you do the healing work, bam, you're able. Some things open up for you. And sometimes that's the case. Okay, but you're not going to do know that if you don't have a good foundation to work from. And I'm going to give you a great, I'm going to present to you a great foundation so you do have better progress on your hoodoo journey. I'm not going to give you anything superficial or show you no spell that ain't going to do you, I keep saying it again, ain't going to do you no good. Okay, you keep following these people and getting them to do stuff for you. It's just like you just like putting a band-aid over a shotgun wound doing that. That's all you're doing. You got a gaping hole, and you instead of trying to put band-aids on over a gaping hole. It don't work like that. Okay. So if that's something that you're interested in, get over there to our community. You can find our link on Patreon. I mean, TikTok. You can find it in YouTube. If you're interested in an astro reading, I have to be very careful with this. Now, in our astro reading, I break down your natal chart from a hoodoo perspective. And so when you get that, it is going to show you all the root work, uh, all your spiritual talents and stuff that's in your chart. Is it gonna specifically show you hoodoo? No. It is definitely gives you an idea of the work you need to be doing once you start your practice. And before you do any of the work that your chart has suggested, I recommend that you have a solid foundation in hoodoo before you start trying to do the magic. Don't try to do no, do all that stuff. You ain't got a relationship with the ancestors. You haven't been consistent with rituals. You don't understand the right time to do the ritual. You don't know the right time to do the ritual. If you don't know any of that, that means you need to start with a good foundation. Okay. My spiritual blueprint is going to give you an idea of what you should be doing once you get your practice going. These are the things you need to be doing to get yourself in alignment with it. Okay. So if you don't know anything about hoodoo, if you don't have a practice, you don't have an ancestral practice, anything like that, I don't recommend you start doing that stuff until you get serious about your practice. Okay. Some of y'all faking and jiving out here, you're not doing the work. I don't know what to tell you. I'm having it and seeing that issue over there now. I have a Know Thyself membership. Now I have a few people in there, and I'm posting again the meeting so you can get some out of it, so you can really see some progress in your shadow work. And people don't show up, and I don't know what you think. You can't fool no spirit. So just because you paying for that, the spirit is. You think the spirit is going to say, "Oh, she paying for that, so she doing it"? No, you talking about something that can read your mind and your emotions. So all you doing is crossing yourself up when you do that. And then you come to me and try to understand why nothing ain't working because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You faking and jiving. You ain't doing what you supposed. You ain't doing no work, and you can't do shadow work by yourself. So get that out your head. You got sick. You've been sick by yourself a long time and didn't know you were sick. How you gonna get yourself well by yourself? It took people, a bunch of people, to get your mind sick. So you don't think it's gonna take a community to get your mind well? You can't do it by yourself, and you're not gonna make progress. You're gonna keep avoiding yourself. Okay, that's all that's gonna happen there. So I've seen people in our community that you know they are paying for the membership, and but yet they're not showing up when it's time to do the work. And I don't want to call you out like that, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Let me hold your hand while I tell you this, sweetheart. You can't make progress like that, and you can't fool no spirit. And don't be looking at me. Okay, I'm just here to help you. I'm not nobody's savior. I'm only doing again what the spirit leads me to do. Okay, but let me hold your hand when I tell you this. You ain't accomplished nothing, especially if you think you're doing it by yourself. Okay, it ain't gonna work. Get you a therapist or something like that, a life coach or something like that, but I don't recommend doing any shadow work alone, and you never finish shadow work. Shadow work is never completed. It is ongoing. You can never complete shadow work. Let me say this again for the people in the back. Shadow work does not stop. Shadow work continues. It's ongoing because our self-awareness is always growing more and more and more. There are layers to us. No shadow work is ever completed ever. Okay? Okay? I hope you understood that. Because I've had people come to me, oh, I did my shadow work. What do you mean did? You mean you're doing it? You mean you're ongoing doing it? Because they think it's supposed to be done. No, 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 no. Your ego is always trying to get ahead of you. We're always learning new things every day. It is an ongoing thing. You would never be beyond shadow work. Never. It is never ending. Okay? They making shadow work, and shadow work. That's not what we call it ancestors work. It's really what it is because you are again dispelling things in your DNA that needs to be get rid of. You're healing things in your lineage that needs to be get rid of. But the new age is calling this shadow work. So I'm gonna go with shadow work. But yeah, it's ongoing. It doesn't stop. So if you think that's something you just supposed to complete and it's gonna be done, you're mistaken. Okay, you can go look that up for yourself. And I got a lot of fluff here. Ain't nobody telling y'all the truth. And then when I come tell y'all the truth, y'all think I'm lying. Think I'm making up stuff. Because everybody around here lying and promoting deception. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me before I close it out? I'll be coming back here again shortly because we're going to be shifting. We're going to be talking about path working and shamanism some more. So I will be coming back talking about, because we're going in deeper now, because now we're going to go into talking about voodoo from a shamanism perspective. Oh yeah, we're going to break it down from a shamanic perspective. This is how I tell you, you'll start running. I have to prepare you for that, because I don't know, once you get on this path and you start working effectively and start progressing, you might run into voodoo. You might run into the Orisha. So I have to prepare you for that. My thing, I'm come prepare you in your work, because that you can reach the limit. It's just no limit. That's how I teach Hoodoo. I don't put you in a little box and tell you it go this way. No, I give you the information, and however how you want your practice to go, you can do that. I'm not gonna gatekeep you. I'm gonna give it all to you. So wherever you want to grow, you can take it to that level. Okay, I'm not gonna gatekeep you. That ain't gonna help me. I want you to see what you can do. You're never gonna see what you're gonna do if the resource is not presented to you. If somebody's restricting you, I'm not gonna restrict you. I want you to be that best practitioner you're gonna be, and that's how I'm going to again address you as a practitioner. Okay, like you know what you're doing. And don't get upset with me. You said, Miss Penny, oh my gosh, you got us working with spirit. We talk about necromancy. What did you think this was? Jesus doing necromancy all through the Bible. What did you think you was gonna be doing when you got over here? We said this is ancestral. You didn't think you was gonna be working with spirits? For God's sake, we got an ancestor out here. We talking to ancestors. You didn't think you was gonna be talking to spirits? That's what's gonna happen over here. So if that's something that you're not comfortable with, then you probably don't want to get over here. Because you're definitely gonna be working with some spirits. Okay, whether it's your ancestors, an angel, a saint, uh, if you're working with, again, earth spirits, again, working with roots and things like that, you're working with earth spirits. You're working with candles. You're working with fire spirits. You're working with water. You're working with water spirits. There's just nowhere around it. I broke that down to you. Okay, so I don't see any questions in here. Um, Again, if you are interested in our community, get over there. We're so happy to have you. We're going to take the fluff out of it. If you're interested in the astro reading, please DM me. Let me put this in here. Please DM me, uh, and I'll give you all that information what you need. A DM me if you're looking for a tarot reading. DM me as well, and I'll get you out a meeting link and an invoice link, and we can get you started on there. Okay, you guys. I think that's all. I hope this was helpful for those of you that's in our community, and we was able to break a few things down about the books we've just covered. And I'll be coming back here within 2 or 3 days, and we'll be going over path working and shamanism. You don't want to miss this topic. This is going to be a juicy topic, something that you really going to want to know if you want to have a communicate with spirits. This is really going to help with that. Okay, you guys, love you. Take care.